What's up? Welcome to Worcester City Council Theater 3000. How is everyone doing today?
Oh, rocking in the free world. How are you?
Phil, it's like we fucking knew, man.
Dude, we aren't sponsored by Buc-ee's.
We should be fucking sponsored by Buc-ee's, though.
You guys are cute.
But it's not for lack of trying.
We're working on it.
Yeah. Both me and Brendan have been on the road a bit of late, so we've had the great pleasure of stopping in at several Buc-ee's. I went to the one in South Carolina and had a Texas Philly cheesesteak burrito, and
fantastic.
It was something else. I gotta say.
I went to about 5 throughout this trip altogether because I don't drive by Buc-ee's, man. This one is from Alabama.
All right, dude. That's awesome.
I'm gonna lose my shit if Bryan joins us and he's just in a Buc-ee's costume.
Yeah,
he got the Christmas onesie. I had my eyes on that one too.
My friends' kids have those. They're matching. They did a whole Christmas Buc-ee's thing for their family. I don't get it. People love it.
We got a little bit trigger happy with the snacks, so we still have some Buc-ee's nuggets, some Buc-ee's peanut brittle, some chocolate covered almonds, I believe, and it's kind of bad. I mean, it's not an establishment which very much concerns itself with calories. Let's put
for sure.
Not at all.
But calories don't count when you're cruising.
Calories don't count when you're cruising. That's right.
I've been dreaming about their cinnamon rolls for about 5 days straight now. About 8 inches across, about 3 inches of frosting on it. I mean, it's the sort of thing you could pick up and just live off of that until you get to the next Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, well, there's no real transition to this, but I'm going through pulling all the bullshit out of my wallet, and look at this. Auntie Dot business card. I don't know when I picked this up, why they have business cards, but I have it, so I know how to get Auntie Dot's.
Is Auntie Dot's still in business? If
the internet went down, I would still know how to call Auntie Dot's. Auntie Dot's still in business as far as I know. I know we've discussed this before. I think it was you, Travis, that said you actually loathe Auntie Dot's, which is
it's not my favorite.
I was gonna say fighting words.
I don't want to yuck someone's yum. That's not my style. However, I will not be lining up for first in the line at Auntie Dot's.
Yeah, well,
that's fair.
Your loss.
More for you, Bill. More for you.
Yeah, but I haven't had Auntie Dot's in like.
I also despise Rhode Island pizza. So 2
times in my life. So, yeah. So what do we got today? We got a city council meeting today, right?
Yeah.
And we actually have a city council budget hearing that started at 5, but we all decided that we're not going to rearrange our lives to talk about the city council budget hearing. Those are usually boring and almost never lead to any sort of policy changes. So we're probably going to tune in the middle of that if they're still going, which is totally fine. Here, I have here's the agenda for the budget hearing. I'll throw it in the chat for everyone so we can all be abreast of that. But usually the only one that I like watching for this is the police budget hearing, just because it's sort of sociologically interesting to see the way that all of their attitudes and speaking mannerisms change when the cops are in the room. But this one we have Department of Public Works, which usually entails just talking about snow removal and leaf pickup for an hour. Transportation and Mobility, the Economic Development Office, and Sustainability and Resilience. So that's pretty dry as far as budget stuff goes, gotta say. And then once we get to the actual city council agenda, which I have right here, we're taking land from Holden. Very excited about that. Let the annexation begin. We should take the whole town, as far as I'm concerned, and turn it into a gulag for everyone that lives there. Toll roads too. we have a nice petition on here that I hope the city council takes seriously from Jen Gaskin, requesting an honorary street name from Salisbury Street to West Street to Boynton Street in honor of her late husband, Daniel Gaskin, who founded the Worcester Caribbean American Carnival Association.
Big supporter of the city.
Without a hitch, I'm going down there and I'm starting to swing. Now I'm swinging.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. What else do we have? Samantha Olney of Halo Worcester is back at it again with a petition to request the city council enact measures that guarantee public access to information about the quality of life task force, including its mission, duties, policies, and procedures, because they just love to lie about that quality of life task force, which is something that I witnessed, and anybody who was with me on Friday witnessed when we watched the Human Rights Commission's annual meeting with the police department. There was a section on homelessness stuff, and it was a lot of obfuscating, I would say. And then other than that,
you guys ever notice how Bucky sucks?
Hey,
Oh, that's right. This is the anti-Bucky's side.
Kick him. Get out of here, Brian. I will not tolerate that slander.
Oh, I see you guys are bought and paid for. Great.
Yeah.
Someone's getting
Where's my cut? What's on your shirt? Your shirt looks rad.
It's a wrestling shirt. It's a
Hell yeah.
Terry Funk shirt. Chainsaw Charlie. It was a good era. Great era in wrestling.
Brian, how you doing today?
Oh, wonderful. Just fucking great. Crashed my goddamn motorcycle into a parked car because of those street designs bad.
Yeah. Breaking news. Apparently, there was a crash on Mill Street involving a motorcycle, and I don't know if we can pull the picture up here.
Do you want? I could put it up here.
Yeah, put it up because it's befuddling. I'll say, and obviously, I hope everyone is okay. It seems like the motorcycle man might be hurt. And
I heard he's fine. I heard he was sitting up and his arm was hurt.
Okay, well,
but
that's great.
Wayne Griffin did call it a possible fatality, so that's not
that's awesome.
Inflammatory language and all.
Yeah, no. He doesn't want it to be a fatality so desperately.
Right, yeah.
He's
not purposely making things worse,
right?
By putting a little. See, it hit the back of the car.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
the back tire hit the back of the car.
And then pivoted around.
Yeah,
it's also like 10 feet away. It's not,
right.
Edit this to make it.
Yeah. I saw him posting about it. Very stupid. Again, the funniest, but the angle that just keeps it, like, it's driving me. I don't know if it's driving me crazy or just making me laugh so much. Is that it's and also the people saying like, well, when is Attell going to take responsibility for this? It's like Attell did not do this. Yeah. Attell cannot change, did not make it happen, cannot change it, is in support of it because most, I don't know. I would say it's pretty 50-50 on whether or not people like it or not. And I'd rather be on the side of Attell on this one in some ways, in most ways. But even if Attell changed her mind and said this street design is bad, that doesn't mean the street design goes back to the way it was. Like,
nope.
She has no say in the matter beyond being one of many votes.
Right. And also
could hope to influence a possible thinking about making a change and have no binding power.
Right. That's what I was about to say. The road redesigns are completely outside of the city council's limited purview.
Yes.
And thank goodness, because they're not road engineers.
Right.
Yeah. We don't want them to have any say in that. But I mean, how are you going to make it a campaign issue if you don't, start with the idea that Attell has unilateral power over the shape and aesthetic of streets in her district, right?
Right. And every other, we definitely see all the time that, the white male city councilors and that have car accidents in their districts definitely get a lot of shit for it.
Right. George Russell.
Seeing that.
Yeah. George Russell, I mean, every time that there's a fender bender on Vernon Hill, George Russell is on the phones. You know what I mean? So I just saw a tweet from Marco that they're still doing budget talks, and they're talking about Discover Central Mass's budget, which I can't think of anything worse to tune in on. Apparently George Russell is making a stink about it. I just don't fucking care. We can wait.
He wants to create a new group called Hyde Central Mass.
Right.
We could talk about this.
Oh yeah. That's I have a section of that sketched out for my post this week, but wouldn't you know it, an advisory board tries to actually be involved in city politics instead of just rubber stamping whatever the city manager does, and they're rewarded with that by being told in no uncertain terms to fucking kick rocks. So the most recent news on that three of the five have resigned.
I thought it was four. It was
four of the five have resigned.
One quit this week.
4 of the 5, yeah.
4 out of the 5 cable commissioners have resigned after the city manager let everyone know via his Substack newsletter that he is not going to take their recommendation into consideration. 4 years of work by the cable commission, and it gets spiked with a blog post. You'd just love to fucking see it.
Man, Hank Stoltz must be fuming right now.
Yeah.
Why do we only get one? That's something I've never looked into. Why do we only get one cable service provider in the city?
It's weird. So, I mean, I was actually going over this to make in case any conversation came up tonight. Bill, if you want, I'll send over all the links that I went through too, because there's some really obscure stuff here.
But yeah, please.
It all comes down to the 1984. Congress passed a law in 1984 that kind of like regulated the way cable services are, and it's a really weird intersection of timing that prior to that, when cities had contracts with cable companies, when they even going back to when they started in like the 50s, there was a lot of fear they weren't going to last. I mean, I'm sure everyone remembers like grandparents or great grandparents saying, "Who's going to pay for television?" Right? Because like it came over the air, and like that was a totally new thing. So a lot of our initial contracts were to protect the city from any potential losses because like a company went bankrupt while they were laying conduit, while they're building out utility structure and whatnot. There's a lot of risk there. And that it actually was a pretty well-intentioned piece of legislation that blew up in, who was his name? Senator Goldwater from Arizona is the one who, it was his legislation. And it was one of the things that like he thought was even a giant kick in his balls, because like pretty friendly to corporate interests kind of guy, and still was blindsided by how the cable industry used their lobbying power to turn it into kind of like a weapon against municipalities. Worcester was still kind of running with the idea that like, hey, we got to really protect ourselves. Then this legislation came through and they got kind of blindsided. So I'm sure, I guess the point being, whatever you hear Mike Traynor saying tonight is legally and factually correct, but kind of erases this bit of history that we have a lot more say than we give ourselves credit for.
Interesting.
And there's always, I'm sure you're going to hear them say tonight that, you know, we've talked to the people at Charter and like they feel that even given over opportunity to do it again, they wouldn't come into Worcester because there aren't enough households and whatnot. That's because the lobbyist for Charter lives in Worcester, or last time I looked, lived in Paxton, but is a pretty local person, donates a lot of money around here and whatnot, as lobbyists are supposed to. And they just kind of go along to get along because they're regional monopolies. The whole system is designed to avoid competition. Mm-hmm. And in the rare places that you can find actual competition, you tend to see 15% lower prices for consumers.
What's the lobbyist's name?
I don't remember, but the state website, the Secretary of State's website, they're all registered there, including that one. I can't remember if this is under Spectrum or Charter these days. The names are a little fuzzy.
All right.
But
the thing is too, like, even if it was just, you know, if it's just the cable television aspect of it, it's gone. It sucks, and it is annoying because in other cities where you have a choice, it really is like markedly cheaper
Yeah.
And there's, I don't know, it just felt like my cable always worked better. Rather than, like just getting shit on by Charter every single time you try and do something.
And ours is a weird situation too, Brian, where if you remember when we were kids, the cable company here was Greater Media. That was actually Greater Media was actually a radio station company from southern Worcester County that got into that market, but that wasn't their forte. So, I mean, there's a good argument to be made as well, too, that a lot of our infrastructure that Spectrum and Charter is working off of, even if they're trying to do everything right, they're kind of working off of a shitty foundation to begin with. It was a radio company trying to get in on the advertising dollars that were moving to cable.
Right. And again, like the cable as a thing is either dying or going through, about to go through its lowest point in its history, and before potentially making a return once people realize that streaming services are just recreating cable. But and it's better to have it hardwired into your home as opposed to probably going over your internet service provider. But we have the unique problem, or not unique, but at least again, the problem with having one service provider is that the internet is really what's fucking sucks in this city.
Yeah. And that's not even a portion of what's being discussed. I mean,
right. It is not, but that's the
right.
The,
but
the problem
was
with
very clear to be like, it's not the internet we're talking about, it's the cable.
Right.
I already spiked that. Yeah.
And that's the part that sucks. They're inextricably linked from the consumer perspective. But again, that's another thing that sucks about that old 1984 legislation, which was updated in the 90s, but it still didn't really speak to the idea that nobody's talking about cable anymore. Like, we're talking about streaming and shitty internet, and you're forcing us to do business with a company that can only be the only game in town because of the way infrastructure is set up.
Right.
And satellite is not better in most ways, but also is really hard to actually get in Worcester because of all the hills. So yeah, it's it's just a shitty thing, and it's very frustrating. But even if you didn't care, even if you're like, I love Charter, then the way this played out is still shitty from a local government standpoint, because literally almost the entire commission is like you said, been working for years on recommending against this, and then he's just like, yeah, but fuck you guys, because the money.
But that's exactly it. It's a communication issue too, because he could have in any of those fucking meetings told this whole group of people, hey, this is the reason we can't do this, and they wouldn't have to go public with their comments and be like they haven't been heard. Like,
but I'm sure, honestly, I'm sure that they had that discussion, and I'm sure that their reasons for still recommending against it are deeper than just that. I'm sure they come more down on the side where Bren was talking about. It was like, no, we have the ability, like we have a bigger, say in this than just being like, oh, the rules, the rules say.
And that's, I think, that is, Brian, I think part of the problem is if just knowing who some of the folks involved with the commission were up until them quitting, a lot of those folks were people who were pretty vocal when we were having conversations about trying to lure Google into town for their fiber project back when that went to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then other conversations about municipal fiber and whatnot. It's people that have been, I think, joined that commission for all the right reasons, because they've paid attention to a lot of conversations that, regardless of where anyone stood, at the end of the day, it came down to the idea that we have a legal responsibility to have a contract with a cable company, but nobody's even talking about cable.
Right.
You know what? I just had the idea. I think it would be because at the end of that article that I shared from the patch, Neil writes, the cable contract does not affect internet and phone service. In addition to Spectrum, Verizon Fios offers service in some parts of the city. Batista previously declined to pursue municipal broadband program, calling such an endeavor, quote, impossible. Next line. Residents in Shrewsbury, for example, buy internet from the town's utility. So Batista thinks it's impossible, and just hilariously cited the Chattanooga example to say that it was, and it's like the national success story for doing it. And right next door, we have Shrewsbury doing it.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to look it up right now to see if Shrewsbury has a press person, because that would be an awesome sort of interview / like show me how it works, to see how Shrewsbury does their internet and just look at it from a Worcester perspective.
And it does seem like residents of Shrewsbury are historically pretty happy with the services they get from that municipal, and it creates jobs. And
it's weird how every town and municipality around us that has municipal services love their services.
Right.
Like, it's weird how even even the most staunchly Republican people I can think of that live in Holden love the town like power system.
Yeah.
All their public works, or their the utility systems in town are hugely popular, as far as I can tell. Never been able to say that in Worcester. As far
They're going to be really pissed off when we take over Holden and add it to Worcester.
Yeah, sorry, suckers. Yeah, you bitches got Mass Electric now. The only time they've ever been cool was when they sponsored the power plays at the Worcester Ice Cats games.
I started this comment, not to change topics, but anyone following the Worcester Fire Union Facebook? Some union hassle stuff?
No.
I don't know if that's in our...
No, I imagine they say
Oh, fuck off. Guess how much it costs to have internet in Shrewsbury?
$10.
It's $40. $40 a month. What is Spectrum these days? Like 80?
I pay $96 a month.
Jesus
Yeah,
fuck.
the business pays 120.
Yeah. I upgraded to like their fastest internet service. It's not cheap. And we don't have cable too. I think it's $120 just for internet service.
It's absurd.
That's annoying. Well,
and still not super reliable either. I mean, it
doesn't work.
At night. It can be great, but like peak daytime when people are working from home and whatnot, it's pretty garbage.
But here's the other thing too: it works. It's much faster at night until you hit 2 a.m. and then it doesn't fucking work at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it does do a dip.
You can't stream a movie. It's bad times.
What would Peter Lukes do?
This is a good point from Eric too. That
legit.
Even if I was paying $90 a month, I'd rather do it to a municipal like fiber or than to fucking charter.
Here's the pricing document for their internet packages, and I mean, like, okay, so the bronze one is 40, and that's not like the fastest internet I've ever seen, but their gold is $74 a month, and it's faster than any internet you could ever possibly need.
It's twice as fast as the fastest in Worcester, right?
Right. Yeah. Like 300 millibytes per second upload speed is like you don't need that for anything. That's so fast.
I mean, I like it for when I'm transferring files, but again, I'm in a business that transfers files.
Right. And if you have a business, you can pay, your
exactly
$104.95 per month for 500
megabytes per second download speed, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's like college campus speed.
Right.
So that's actually what I was going to ask. Are all the colleges on Spectrum, or do they have independent contracts?
There was
company
Light Tower was in Worcester for years that was building out a fiber loop between all the colleges. And I think that's what the colleges are on, is a high-speed fiber loop. That's actually what Fios, if you have Fios, you probably live in a neighborhood that's adjacent to where a college or university is. And that's why they were able to build off of that. I don't know who actually supports the data services outside of that loop, but I do not think it's Spectrum that handles it.
Interesting. Budget.
Oh, wow. For okay, so get this. Commercial packages for enterprise business, monthly rate $89.95. That's pretty much Spectrum. Download speed 250 millibytes per second. Load speed 250. Crazy.
Upload 250 down, 250 up.
Yeah, 250 down, 250 up, baby.
Shit.
That's
Oh,
I mean
Also,
excessive.
we didn't even talk about the fact that on the consumer broadband, you scroll down there, they have fiber in certain areas, and 500 megabytes per second speed is $74.95 a month.
Wow.
God.
with
But it's
500 with 500 upload.
Crazy.
It's a silly place.
Worcester's.
Our stream would be so much better. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like every week at least one of us is lagging, depending
Yep.
on where in the city the outage is.
Yeah.
I look so much better in 500 megabytes per second.
So yeah, the budget meeting just ended. I have the city stream up.
Cool.
It's up with this nonsense now.
Nice.
So my assumption is they're taking a 15 and then
Yeah, they're taking a little
by
poo-poo
7.
break. They'll be back in. Yeah.
Yeah, to make a doo-doo.
Yeah.
Was this budget meeting just going around the horn, people like presenting their budgets, making requests, and then the city manager saying, yeah, we're broke. Move on next. And
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's we're broke is gonna mean, I think the news is out now, like 160 teacher cuts, which is just horrible.
Yeah.
And that's just like there's so many problems going into that, but I mean the fact that the city's budget funds the public schools at the absolute bare minimum, like to the point where it's like Worcester is among one of like a handful of cities and towns across the state which does this at the absolute bare minimum. And the line we're getting is that we have too much outstanding debt or potential debt in the future because of burn coat, but we're just totally omitting Polar Park from that debt conversation.
I was gonna say, do all these teachers get gigs as hawkers at Polar Park? Guaranteed.
You know what
gigs?
though? You can't do school at Polar Park. The door's not big enough.
Oh, nuts.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, speaking
Yeah.
of Polar Park,
Interesting.
talked
Someone
about
was
the-
already laid off.
Whoa, really?
Oh,
That sucks.
yeah. Eric, I'd like to hear maybe DM me more about that story. That's interesting.
Travis, what were we saying?
Just the stupid Dinosaur Jr. collab that came out that Shaun told us about.
Oh yeah.
I'm still so confused.
So I think it's bands that are close to, like, you know, our local quote unquote local bands to each of the. I think it's only like 3 or 4 teams right now. But yeah, they're doing a Woo Sox Dinosaur Jr. collab, and they're throwing out the first pitch tonight and unveiling new gear.
Which is
that
awful.
has Dinosaur Jr.'s super famous logo on it.
Yeah.
Is it even the logo? Or it's just like from one of their records, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the records. Yeah.
Yeah, hilarious. I've met Jay Mascis twice in my life. Second time was at Ralph's when we played with his other band Witch, which was sick. First time was hilarious. It was on a plane, and he was at like 10 rows in front of me, just shoving his bright purple sparkly backpack into the overhead container, and it wasn't fitting. So he was just like cramming it in like this. It was causing a commotion, and it was awesome.
Yeah, there it is. It's fun to see celebrities on planes. I like it. I like seeing a celebrity on a plane. They're at such a disadvantage, you know.
Oh my god,
you're trapped in here with me, pal.
Right.
My mom made me ask Brian Boitano for his autograph standing outside of LaGuardia one night. She was too scared to go do it, so I was maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8, and she sent me with a pad and a pen. And she goes, "Go ask that man for his autograph." And I had no idea who he was, but I went and asked for his autograph.
I mean, in a weird way, I kind of get what they're doing there, but that might be the worst design for any sort of collaboration in the history of ever.
It's
Like,
just
nobody
not great.
There's 3 people on Earth who will recognize that.
Just put Jay Mascis as the Wepa.
Yeah.
That's much.
Or put long silvery hair on Smiley.
Right. That's the iconic part of that band is how Jay Mascis looks.
Right. So going or along similar lines to this, I saw a tweet that I was mildly able to confirm, but I couldn't track it down, about there being a Worcester Worms hat that the Woo Sox is selling, and the hat is fucking sick. And I could find old versions of it, but not this version in particular. Hold on, I'm uploading it right now. But I don't understand. Is this like an inside joke for like for Woo Sox fans or what?
I think they did it last year, right? They played a game, like they do those one-off like games where they play as like a different name team, like the Weight Bus they do every year. But I think they did one as the Worms.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at a stuffy, like a stuffed animal of the worm with the W.
So yeah. I mean, they should have just named the team that.
The Worcester Worms have been so sick. But yeah, I don't know. I can't pull this down now.
Oh wait,
sick.
I just found it, Bill.
No, I've been throwing it up on the screen the whole time. Have you guys not see that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, for sale is what I'm saying.
Oh,
you find it? Yeah, it's in their official shop.
Oh, really? I looked yesterday and it wasn't in there.
There's two of them, anyways. I didn't see what you put up. There's an all black one, and then there's a. I'll just throw it up here for you.
I might have to buy that.
I was trying to talk the library into adding a worm into their logo, but they weren't interested.
No.
Just scroll down a little bit.
Are you kidding me? Bookworm? Jesus.
Yeah, come on.
Scary, drive an Apple car. Come on.
Come on.
What I love though, if you go to their store, the very first item is their paw socks hat. Like literally.
That's so cool.
It's
yeah, look at that.
They got rid of them, Brendan.
Still trying to unload them, yeah.
Almost gone.
It stands for Polar Park. Oh fuck. Yeah, I like the one with the diamonds on it, Bill. You're right. It looks like an old like Miami Hurricanes hat.
It's way cooler.
What's the one? Can you throw it back up, Bill? I didn't see the one you were showing because I was looking at their.
It's by 47 brands. It's like a Boston company. Hold on, let me get over there.
Well, I can just share my spit.
Oh shit!
It's wicked sick. But I went to 47 brands website and couldn't find it.
Huh?
Maybe it was just a mock-up.
Could be just a mock-up.
Do we know anybody that makes custom hats?
Just make this.
We just make one of these.
I wish we did. I've been wanting to make a Worcester Sox hat for forever.
We can do that through Printful.
Yeah.
We can set you up, and then
Are they stitched?
Uh-huh.
You can do stitch test or Printful.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Holy moly, this is going to be a game changer. We're putting Fred Nathan's face on a hat.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let me open up my Printful account and look at that.
That's incredible. Yeah, we'll put one up. We have the logo. We can make a Fred Nathan shirt.
Why wouldn't we?
We have stickers.
Just magnets.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
So this is one I did.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay, really cool.
Good. And then the TD hat I wear is made through Printful. So we can get you set up. We may need to simplify your logo. Yeah. You get to pick the hat.
Yeah, I could make a logo without any text that just says the thing. Yeah. I have a Printful account. It's like linked to my merch store and shit. So
you're already good. What do you need me for? You're good.
Travis, let me get the fuck out of here.
I'm trying to.
I just need you to finish those flyers, buddy.
You asked like an hour ago.
Yeah, I know. Now.
So it's still got like 30 minutes. We're good. Just kidding.
Yeah, they need those. They need those. The diamond hat. They need that other one.
What's this about?
That's a Marvel collab, I believe.
What's the description on it?
Marvel, you're absolutely right.
Oh yeah.
I know that from looking it up yesterday.
Wow.
I wish they would do some of these as truckers. I don't like these style of hats.
I don't like these big style hats. I wear a dad hat.
Yeah, I'm a dad hat kind of guy.
Which is such a dumb name for a hat, but that's what they call them.
I like a I like a fedora.
You know, nobody does a good embroidered fedora these days.
They're
No.
missing out. They're missing out on all my business.
We could make that with Woot Nanny. We could make some sick Woot Nanny fedoras.
Milady.
Yeah, McComedy.
Yeah, we should make Fred Nathan hats, I think.
Fred Nathan hats.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Is this going to
Just
be
to
like
see
last
what he'd
time,
say.
Eric, where I make it and then
You never buy it?
I'm just kidding. He did. I'm just teasing him. We even have photographic evidence. In here somewhere.
I can't believe they aren't doing the city council meeting tonight. This is ridiculous. I got
This is a
so
long
excited
break.
talking about the budget.
Long ass break. I gotta tell you what.
I will be back momentarily. I need to get a beverage. I'll be back.
Thanks for the warning. And I think I deleted the photo of Eric, so oh well. Too bad, so sad. Still got this though.
Oh no.
Oh, I hate it so much every
Oh.
time.
There he is.
Hey.
There he is.
Eric, did you hear that me and Brendan saw Idella in the real world?
Troubler, yes, that is real. He put that up.
It's real and it's spectacular.
He's also our sponsor, just so everybody remembers.
Man, what a fucking idiot.
So Spectrum's lobbyist name is John Mayer.
Yeah, that's rad.
John,
Pretty sick.
that does rule.
I'm checking his contributions to see who he donates to and such.
Yeah, like there's obviously no evidence, but we could certainly speculate that Eric is getting something for maintaining
I think that we behoove ourselves to speculate.
Yeah.
Loudly.
Speculate away. What are the options? What kind of speculating could we do, everybody?
Yeah, right.
How much money could somebody give someone to?
Yeah.
What would it cost you guys to sell your city out?
my entire city, like $6.
Yeah.
And like an all-you-can-drink slushy cup.
There you go. That's probably.
I feel like
at
you
least
get
that.
me one all-inclusive a year. You know, one all-inclusive trip just on Spectrum Company dime, and I'm doing whatever you tell me to do, baby.
It's the
I'm
all-inclusive trip to Worcester, where you can just
No!
like go around and anything
like-
you experience is free.
Yeah, like some sort of White Lotus style, like one of those places.
That's absurd.
I think it's great. I think that works. Did we talk about that? It's Brendan's birthday.
Oh, it is Brendan's
Oh,
birthday.
it's Brendan's birthday.
Happy birthday, Brendan.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone say happy birthday to Brendan.
Yeah, Iris was the one that spilled the beans. She put up a real nice post at bottom with all these cute photos.
Oh,
Yeah, so I didn't subject you guys to all of that.
What's it like
How you
turning
feeling?
26?
Damn. Yeah, I wish.
Your
Fucking-
insurance is going to go down soon, right?
My insurance goes down soon, and I'm not too far off from actual discounts everywhere I go through AARP. It's
Hell yeah.
there's some good stuff on the horizon.
Hell
Not
yeah.
bad. I'm getting
Lot to
insured.
look forward to.
Yeah, and then I die.
Yeah, well, but you get to become a right-wing reactionary first, so that's pretty
Any day now.
exciting.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
Does that show up in a box? Like,
Been
does
to
your
Texas
outrage?
twice in 1 week.
Drove there too.
Thank you all. Yeah,
Does your outrage come in a package? And you just
yeah. It's like one of those like the gift boxes that you get, like a subscription service. It's just every decade you get another kit that like moves you a little bit further to the right and fucks up your fashion sense, and a little bit of tape that you can stick on your head and pull out what's left of your hair. It's awesome, man.
It's like one of those
I'm really excited
keepsake
for you.
break lists with their like bigot beads.
Yeah.
Bigot Bees is good.
We should sell those with Fred Nathan's face on them.
Shoot.
Oh man.
All right. Why is it so hard to find a press contact in Shrewsbury? Is it because nobody ever writes about Shrewsbury?
There's only one person working in town hall. Just call and they'll answer the phone.
Yeah. Sure.
Main South Mom gifted a subscription. That's so
Oh,
nice.
thank you.
Mom. Oh, I can't rob you guys of this awesome music.
Wow.
We've definitely talked about this, but it would be fun to sign up for the audio journal reading.
I sign up every year, and they never get back to me.
Couple
It's
more
kind of my
birthdays and you're in.
it's kind of my dream to like read the Telegram for audio journal, but I want to do it in a way that like just really slightly like highlight the things that I think are important. I know you're supposed to be very monotone, but like I feel like there's a way to drive your opinion based on the way you present it in your tone.
Just pronounce Joe Petty's name wrong every single time you read it.
Yeah.
Joe Putty. Joe Putty. Joe Putty. Joe Putty. Mayor Putty. So here's a question. How hard would it be for us to get this program on cable access? Not live, of course, but in the rotation.
Or some version of it?
If we send them like an hour-long edit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Mike and I used to do with 508, and all we did was burn it out on, I mean, the problem is technology. We used to have to burn it out on DVD or put it on a thumb drive. Mike worked down there part-time, so it was easy enough for him just to do it down there.
Right.
Edit down any of the times I fucked up and swore, and then cut it down for time. It works out really well too. I mean, it's creepy though, Bill. You got to get ready for like when you're just out shopping, thinking nobody's paying attention, and then little old ladies start coming up to you, telling you that like they're watching it at 2:00 in the morning when they don't sleep at all.
Yeah,
but like that's what we need. So I've been watching Everyone's in LA or Everybody's in LA, the Netflix show that John Mulaney's doing. And I've dreamed about doing a show on public access that's somewhere between that and Chris Gethard and what all the nonsense that we're involved in. Like, yeah, I think that's what our platform needs.
And the time shifting is neat too, because like a lot of people, I mean, just don't pay attention to the fact that like they're watching something that was recorded weeks or months earlier. And it's like, it still kind of comes across as being live. And yeah.
Plus they'll say the F word a lot.
Like they will make time for you though. That's the cool thing.
Let's do it.
There's got to be an AI by now that bloops swears, right? Just run it through. Boop, boop, boop.
I mean, so like if we use this, we'll have to edit it down anyway because they'd want it in like a 30 or 60-minute slot.
Right. Yeah.
Which is also something I've always thought, like to release this as a podcast, a 60-minute condensed podcast would be pretty rad.
Yeah, but then you got to edit it.
Well, that's exactly it.
And my lazy ass is not doing that.
Oh, I may have a video editor for you.
Oh, sick. Okay, good. I recorded a 40-minute video essay the other day.
Whoa.
I'm having someone edit it. It's on the Supreme Court and homelessness and such.
Nice.
Trying to build out that sort of extension of the local media game. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I want to talk to your video editor for sure.
Well, it's just somebody, it's a friend of a friend that I know about. But this also goes out to this audience. If there's any video editors or anybody in the creative fields in this, please reach out.
Yeah, we need a lot of editing done.
And we just want to know who's here.
Send us your reel.
Wow, they cut 500K from Central Mass. Oh,
really?
No. George Russell voted to cut 500K from Discover Central Mass's budget, and everyone else voted no to that.
Voted to call him a dickhead.
Yeah, voted to say, "Shut up, George, you idiot."
See, when one of us gets on city council, that's the type of orders we're going to put in place.
Yeah,
just in order to censure every city councilor like once a week.
Yeah. What are they called? Impeachments.
We're just going to do impeachments.
No matter how many times the city lawyer says that impeachments aren't a thing in the Worcester City Charter, we just keep filing for impeachments.
I think it's
What
I think
is
it's the
bread
strongest. Yeah, well, I don't know anything about BreadTube.
That's progressive YouTube.
Oh,
The algorithm has just gotten really weird, where it's just like Twitter, where you can have like you'll just be on a corner of YouTube and never realize that like there's anything else out there, because the algorithm is just that's all they're giving you.
interesting. Okay, good that I know that now, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
So I have an
maybe it'll
idea.
break me out of my wrestling algorithm on YouTube.
Why
That's all
bother?
I get.
So this is super tiny, but they're doing a painted box project here in the city, and I wanted to check in with you guys to see if we should submit a design as part of the Worcester Council Theater 3000
Yep.
group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should. Yeah.
And what should that look like?
Us fishing at Coe's Pond, and we're hooking a giant Fred Nathan.
That was so fast.
Hey, inspiration strikes, baby. We're all in a boat. We're all in a boat. We're all pulling the reel, like pulling the fishing the pole together.
Yeah.
And then Fred is like coming out of the water like a big mouth bass. And
Is that one side, or does this wrap all the way around and the people have to follow the line around?
you gotta follow it. You gotta follow it. Yeah. This is like
Respect.
Meow Wolf. It's a very interactive thing. We should get a Meow Wolf in Worcester. We should just give the Foothills Theater to
Bro,
Meow Wolf.
Try him like hell.
Let's do
I'm
that.
actually trying to meet the level 99 people. I really want to work with them.
Let's just
Big
do
fan.
that.
Big fan
Yeah,
of
get a
that.
cool thing. Just like hand over like the Foothills Theater to something cool that people will come to. Because there's just no other solution. We just got to do a Meow Wolf.
Well, I mean, so there's an open contract, or they're accepting bids for it's not Picket Plaza, it's whatever it is right across from
The old parking lot.
yeah. So like they're looking for operators. If we think we can plan it out.
Here we go. This is what we do. We put up stocks, and we every week we find somebody, we get them to get in the stocks for charity, and then we fucking huck tomatoes at them.
Oh, I love that
Oh.
guy.
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea.
I think it could be great. People will just stop going to the games and just come over and watch, and like pay 50 cents. Pay 50 cents per tomato. And then you just whip it. Just absolutely whip it at the person in the stocks.
And then the players get pissed off because nobody's in the stands, and then pitchers are coming by, and actually like professional throwing people are like actually killing locals with their fastball tomatoes.
So genius.
There's so much promise here.
Then there's less customers for Spectrum, and my internet gets faster. This is like
this solves so many problems.
Yeah. Hi Annie. No, you didn't miss the meeting. They haven't come back from the budget meetings yet. They did the budget meetings early, and they finished those and then took a short break, and they've been gone for 40 minutes.
They're currently trying to explain to the city council how subtraction works, and that there is no money, and this is how that happened.
And it's their fault. I'm hoping they're telling them it's their fault. They went over to Ziggy Bombs. They booked Ziggy Bombs for the shoot last week. For Crafty. We always get like food trucks or something every once in a while, or like somebody to come in and do like special catering or a little treat, and they booked Ziggy Bombs, and wouldn't you know it, that's the night that Joe Petty showed up on set.
That's awesome.
Do they treat him like a celebrity? Like, do they walk him around, or does he like an inconvenience?
I'll tell you offline. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but
fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, respectful. Yes.
I just didn't know, like, it must impact, because they're working. People are working, and it must get in the way.
It's not great. I'll say that.
But I can imagine that's any interruption.
But it's fine. I will say it's like mostly we always have the mayor come down or whatever. Let him come down.
Probably good form.
It helps, And then they let us, fuck up Main Street again.
Right.
Yeah, I was really worried that they were going to think he was a giant zombie. Shuffling
Put him in the
around.
shot.
Yeah. Whoa, who's this guy?
We're not
Too
ready
much-
for the zombie yet.
Too much makeup.
Too real. His
didn't know
lumber is so.
I didn't know we had potato zombies.
So many eyes.
Potato zombies.
There it is.
Oh shoot! I never made the Eric one.
Oh yeah, we gotta get that one up there.
I thought 7:00 they'd be back, and then I thought 7:10.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Make a wish.
They're all just hiding in budget, trying to wait out Steve Quist and the rest of the former cable commissioners, so they don't have to get yelled at.
All right. I saw something stupid. I'm gonna pull up.
They just got a bunch of coax in their hands, like, hitting it against their open palms. Let's go.
I bet that would hurt like a cat of nine tails.
Yeah. You ever been hit with coax cable? It sucks. Brendan, how's this round going?
Not too bad. I'm just trying to finish up challenges, Brian, before the end of the season. We only got a couple days left. I didn't get out.
Oh, go ahead.
I missed a lot of the Star Wars stuff because
right.
I was out of town. But
you didn't make Oliver Drive while you play. Oh, you don't play on Switch. See, that's you do play on Switch.
No, I'm on Switch. Yeah,
you should have played in the passenger seat, dude.
Dude, I'm an old man. I get a discount on my rental car insurance. There's no way in hell I was paying the premium to have a 19-year-old drive a rental car.
So I was randomly flipping through Twitter, and I saw this on Councillor Pasillo's. But what makes you proud of your mom? She's the first girl city councillor.
That is true. We've had plenty of women city councilors.
A lot of women.
Jenny does kind of qualify as the first girl city councilor.
First girl.
I think that's all fair. That's all fair.
And if you look at who responded,
Jesus Christ.
she has memes with her name in it.
I'd love to see these if she didn't block me, which is illegal.
By the way,
the Supreme Court said so. That's why they're trying Donald Trump to put him in jail for life, because he blocked people on Twitter. You idiot, Kate. You're ruined. I don't know if I agree with James Leo Bedard.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
She's a mom.
Sorry.
I'll give her
Sorry,
that.
Counselor. Yeah.
And a very happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. But Jenny, passable mom at best.
damn, they're taking a long ass break. I'm gonna try something out.
Oh, I really thought it was gonna be a little dance.
I've been working on this shimmy. What do you guys think?
Check out this TikTok dance.
Apparently Yenny found us cat 5 of 9 tables.
Oh my God. All right. Our next fundraiser is we go in the stocks. You guys pay money. You get to hit us with those for charity to raise money for our city council campaign.
And the only thing we're allowed to yell is, why, Spectrum, why? What's frustrating is knowing, even with this break, we're going to midnight. Like, it's going to be a late one.
Yeah. Bunch of losers. Brendan, did you buy any new skins? Did you see that they had Terminator skin up?
I did not buy any of the new. I don't buy a lot of skins, man. I like collecting as much of the season as I can, because those tend to not come back through the store. Being a cheap motherfucker from Worcester, I get really pissed off when I get excited about a skin that's for sale. I buy it, and then the next season it comes out on a discount.
That's why I was. They had Bender up the other day.
Oh yeah,
Futurama, and I was like, oh, that was the first time I've been tempted in a while.
Yeah, if there was like a TJ Maxx of Fortnite skins, I would definitely be shopping there.
The TJ Maxx of Fortnite
Oh my
skins.
god, they got to do that.
It needs a better name.
Fortnite rack? I don't know. What would you do? It was
Fortnite Loft. All I know is they have most of my money.
How was hot dog on Friday night, Brian?
It was great. We had a blast. We made Logan O'Brien write a diss track against Shaun.
Hell yeah.
It was great. He did a really good job. I thought we had Bill back for a second, but his camera cut out. Yeah, I gotta cut that down. I recorded it, and I forgot to cut it down into the clip, but we'll put that up on Instagram. It was very fun. I think the next one is going to be for Hot Dog Safari Week.
Super cool.
Yeah. Speaking of which, June 15th, Top Dog, the hot dog eating contest, is part of Heavy Metal Parking Lot at Ralph's.
Hell
It's
yeah.
gonna be a big day. The flea market out during the day, then we're in the afternoon. And then, hell yeah. Great. That's so exciting. Yeah. May 31st, the Sort of Late Show. We got incredible guests. We got a great lineup that night. Reporter Matt Shearer from WBZ Radio is going to be on. Speaking of TikTok, this guy's blowing up. We got some of the crew from Woo Skates is going to be there. Jake McKelvey is playing music, one of our faves, and we're premiering his new music video that Shaun is one of the stars of, and also little Eric Yankees Franco, and Paul Henry's the comedian, the WPI grad, he's in New York now, killing it. So it's gonna be a great show. Come on out. Tickets are available in our bio, Wootenanny Comedy. It's fun. We go to Off the Rails. We have a great time. They do a great job over there.
That's one of the more fun shows that we work on.
We have such a blast, man. Yeah, we really do have a blast doing it.
I love getting the list of photoshops or list of monologue jokes from Shaun, and then getting to do my digits.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. We got a bunch of stuff planned.
I'm so excited. I'm definitely coming down. I've never met Matt Shearer, and I really want to meet him.
Same.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited to have him on.
Yo, how's my audio out here?
Sounds great, dude.
Yeah,
dude, I got one of Brendan's lapel microphones on.
Oh,
they do work good, huh? With the mobile setup.
They work really good. Yeah, I figured it out for doing those bread tube essay that I'm about to put out once it gets edited. And the audio is fantastic. I'm definitely gonna order a set. It works really well with a phone.
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah.
Sound awesome. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, fair enough. But I still think there's a fair amount of noise down there in general.
It's windy out here. This does a really good job of like having a limited range.
Eric, it's on May 31st, Friday, May 31st, at Off the Rails at 8 p.m. is the start.
And you can buy physical tickets from Shaun if you
from
see him
Shaun.
out in the wild.
You can get them ahead of time the link is in our bio, or you can buy them at the door.
On Thursday, I'm spending the entire day at South High. There's a class that's doing a final on one of my homelessness stories.
Oh, amazing.
Cool. I'm doing 4 presentations. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be
Those poor kids. It's like almost summertime, and that's what they're doing to get ready for summer. I mean, that's what we need. We need to get involved, but
that's what they're doing to get ready for 10 years from now. When that's all of us.
Yeah, facts. Good point.
Yeah. Well, we're all bought and sold by Buc-ee's just to get by.
Well, I hope I have a Buc-ee's tent at that point.
Listen, I've bent over backwards for Buc-ee's.
Maybe that's the move. Is we pitch Buc-ee's on like a campaign that we can run
Yeah.
for them for just minimal dollars, like make Massachusetts Buc-ee's again.
It's a great idea.
Listen, I'm telling you, we demolished the Walmart and put a Buc-ee's in there.
Done.
Worcester is all of a sudden a destination city. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ.
First Buc-ee's in the Northeast. First Buc-ee's in New England. Yeah, that's Bill, have you ever tried, or does anyone know where I could look at the internet. It's right in front of me, but I'm not going to. When you're in like northern Maryland or like the border of Delaware, there's one last Buc-ee's sign. They don't say like next exit. It'll say something, but this one says like, it just says it's the picture of Buc-ee, and then it says just 589 miles to go. But like I can't figure out where it is. It must be like a left somewhere. Where
I think it's gotta be. Yeah.
But
If it's Maryland, then there's probably one in West Virginia, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
That seems too far. Not far.
Too left. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna look.
What the hell is on the back of Fred's shirt?
I think that's.
Is that a fish? Is that our design?
No way.
It's somebody reeling in a big old
sailboat.
fish. It maybe is, but
it could be definitely a fisherman or a fishing. Oh shoot!
Oh my
I'll
God.
just look back. I'll look back in the recording.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Gloria.
Here.
Councilor G.A. Councilor King. Councilor Mara Carlson.
Oh, first car going by.
Councilor Hida.
Pretty good. Sounded really good.
Councilor Russell.
All right.
Next time one drives by, talk through it. Then we'll really test
sure.
this thing.
I don't know why Bill's subtitles were so much bigger than mine. I know it's not about size; it's how you use them. But
It's
I just feel inadequate.
if you just control plus while you're in the tab like crazy.
Coast Guard Auxiliary to bring attention to the important life-saving tips for the recreational boater. And whereas U.S. Coast Guard
helps.
Auxiliary
Yeah, it definitely helps.
10-1
It looks
in
crazy
Worcester
on your
sponsors
tab,
local events to raise
but it looks
awareness
good on
of
here.
and promote safe boating practices. Whereas 90 million Americans.
Yeah, epic.
take out waterways
Waffle
for
House is right up there with
recreational
Buc-ee's
boating
as
each
things that I just
Whereas
refuse
on
to drive by.
average, 650
I went to a
people die
bad
each
Waffle
year
House
in
on this
boating-related accidents in the
road
United
trip.
States.
Oh
They
man.
exist.
75% of
Like
these
not
fatalities
like
are
bad
caused
in
by
like the
drowning.
boring way, you know? Like
Whereas a significant number of these
it wasn't
fatalities could be
it
alive
wasn't
today
crappy enough,
had
you know?
they- would be alive today had they worn a life
It's a shame.
jacket and
Bummer.
taken a safe boating
But
class. Whereas
Two
spreading the
to
message
three of the
safe
staff
boating practices,
were
promoting
really
life jacket
pissed off at
wear,
each other and
not
weren't
only
hiding
during
it. So
National
at least we
Safe
got that
Boating
side
Week,
of things.
but also throughout
Okay,
the year
good.
has
Yeah.
potential to reduce several
The only
lives
time I've
lost.
ever been to a Waffle House,
Now,
I
the
walked
FIA
out without
just went
paying by
ahead and
accident.
proclaimed May 18th.
Now your picture's up
mean,
on the wall.
I was gonna say
National
you probably
Safe
cost them
Boating
all
Week
of
in the city of
13
Worcester.
cents, but
Encourage
Yeah, I
residents
know.
to recognize and participate in its observance.
I fucking love Waffle
Yeah,
House.
for
That
you.
Yeah, I
was
was
like
super hungover, and like everyone else was leaving, and I was still finishing up my hash browns, and they were like, "Come on, let's go." So I was just like, "Okay, whatever," and I just walked out without paying.
that and Denny's were like band mainstays during my touring days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been to a few Denny's.
Back in my time, they were a $5 bowl, a little breakfast bowl. For my $5 per diem went right to that.
Right.
Mr. Shane, do you want to say a few words?
Do you remember when was it Denny's or IHOP that had the pop punk menu? I think it was like a Warped Tour menu, maybe.
That sounds like IHOP, but I don't remember.
I just remember them having a.
Oh, eggs
Yes.
underage.
Thank you.
I was in a band called Vengeance Over Victory. I was the front man in a screamy hardcore band.
Wow.
Whereas Public Works and Parks professionals focus on infrastructure.
The album's on
services that are
YouTube.
vital
You'll find it.
importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of people of Worcester, Massachusetts. Whereas these infrastructure and services could not be provided without the efforts of the Public Works and Parks professionals, who are engineers, managers, laborers, and administrative employees. These individuals are responsible for improving and protecting our city streets, water supply, parks, urban forests, and solid waste and recycling systems. It is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and
I knew this really
businesses
crappy
to
pop punk
maintain
guitarist one time.
and to maintain an
He only
ongoing
fingered A
interest
minor.
of the importance of public works and public works programs. This year, 2024, marks the 64th annual
Kendrick over here.
which is themed Advanced Quality of Life for All, sponsored by the American
Drake would
Public
fit in.
Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association.
Drake would have loved Warped Tour.
I keep hearing people like not getting like what's going on with the Drake and Kendrick thing, or like being surprised by that, like that accusation came out of nowhere. I'm like, have you not heard for years that Drake is a groomer?
This is a new angle, huh?
It is a new angle.
We're rewarding Jay Fink with something.
Mr. Mayor, if I may just say a few words.
Sure.
I accept this on behalf of all the
Biggest
450
winter
men
storm
and women.
botch
I think it's an honor to
of
have
the
this
decade.
recognize the hard work that the professionals.
I accept this award for selling off all our plows and weighing it every time there's a snowstorm.
The other is in association with this week and the celebration of National Public Works Week. We also
Whoever this
have
person is in
a
the sweater
Employee
vest doesn't
of
like
the
Jay
Year
Fink.
award. That's
That's
gonna
my
take place
guess.
on Monday.
This motherfucker lounging.
That motherfucker
Lounging and
is
leering.
Like if you put Matt Wally and Ed Augustus into a
Dude,
fusion.
holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit.
Mr. Commissioner?
like the Fly.
Okay. Next, we
At Augustus.
going to approve the minutes of
Yeah.
April 9th,
Matt
2024
Augustus.
meeting. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Public participation, the person may speak.
Is that really who that is, Trouble?
Yeah, it actually is. Now that he says it.
That's funny.
Of course.
What a dweeb.
Fred Nathan of Worcester.
Red.
9.
Let's see this shirt. Everyone try and get eyes on this shirt.
Yes. 9.36 D and E.
Oh, ask Marco to take a picture of the back
The
of it.
budgets. I'm sure you anticipate
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
extra costs, electricity.
I can't do that right now, actually, with that close.
And to do a little flex.
Yeah.
I find it interesting.
Oh no, I can actually do that. Oh, look at that.
We need to
Look at
transfer
you.
Almost $750,000 more to cover these bills. I don't know if everything else is skyrocketed, if that's the excuse, but kind of makes you wonder. 9.15.
What a quizzical little man.
The law
so funny.
department, the
He's just an
issue
interesting
of
dude.
The governing laws.
I saw him at Jeff
renewal
Killibrew's
of
event,
the,
the
cable.
Worcester Renaissance Festival.
I understand the city manager's
It was cool to see him.
desire to get a
All right,
plan
send
done
Marco a
here,
message. We'll see.
but with the fact there's been so much,
That's a smirk.
people want another choice. I mean, Verizon Fios and some of the other companies, they do have a little
He's
bit
putting
of
eyes on it.
foothold in this city.
Marco, you rule!
Oh my
Marco,
god.
you rule!
But I'm sure
What
it's
a
nowhere
dude.
near the monopoly. And
Somebody
Fuck
clip
yeah.
that.
if there was ever anything
I
to
take back
do
everything I
something
said.
about
Marco is the
to
absolute
end
man.
a
Marco's
monopoly,
the goat, man.
this would be it here. And for the law department to even say
Now
that
flex.
members who were on the board cannot ever come up and voice their opinion, I would like to remind the council, the mayor, the manager, this is not Nazi Germany. Remember that.
Oh, that's
This
true.
is not Nazi Germany.
That's true.
Did your name and see your residence?
I forget that all the time.
Idella has its
Unless you read the op-ed page of the New York Times, Washington
also
Post,
on
or the Atlantic.
9.36 D and E.
Has he
They
sent
want
it?
you to vote on transferring $400,000 from the water department.
I'm refreshing my Twitter messages.
$300,000
Oh, it's
from
through
the sewer
Twitter.
department. From
Yes.
into another fund within the department.
Oh my God. Travis, I'm gonna
The
message
best
with
part
you.
about this is that when you switch
No,
tabs
I'll
on your
vote.
phone, we lose you the video
Somebody
feed, but
in
your
the-
audio is still crystal clear. And
That's super crisp.
That's
money
awesome.
in States, salaries. They're gonna take $400,000 out of the salary.
All right,
budget
and we're back.
from the water department and $300,000.
I sent it to the group chat,
out of
so
the sewer
Awesome.
department.
Beautiful.
Oh, you are incredible,
And I'm
Marco.
working for them,
This stupid show,
and
like,
I'm gonna put it into.
it just gives us so much delight and joy. And I especially love when we can actually see the impacts of our work.
And supplies, electricity and equipment from my salary? Are they gonna cut salary? Is there gonna be layoffs? Well, what happens to money for?
yes,
It's exactly a fisherman.
promotions,
Fucking fate, dude.
raises,
It's fate.
so
jobs?
sick. It's so
I'm
sick.
sure
Intact.
the people
I
working
forgot what that
for
is.
the water department or the sewer department are not aware of this at all. Or they would have filled the place
We good with this?
here and upstairs.
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
mentioned last week that we're not getting.
Well, that's what we're
the
doing then.
information.
That's it. I will
just
come up
getting
with, I'm going to write it on my to-do list.
The agenda the day
Better
before.
known as my to-do list.
And most people don't come here to get them.
I'm going to need one of
because
you
they
guys
don't
to
have
submit this
time,
one because I'm actually
especially
submitting some of
city
my own that are
employees.
serious.
The
Real
water
good ones.
department,
Yeah. We'll do this fake
the
dumb
sewer
one.
department, they work their
Who's
8
picking-
hours, and they
who's
get called
picking?
out in the middle of the
It would
night.
be
What's-
They get
the
called out on
whack, I
Saturday.
assume.
They get
But I don't
called
know.
out on Sunday.
Fabian
when
put it out,
there are
the new
emergencies.
arts and culture.
There was talk earlier about unions. and
That's just the power
fairness
of
wages.
Digital media right
What
there.
the heck is going on?
Legitimately.
I know I don't work for them, but I come here and I speak up for the people that don't know what's going on.
He's going to shut her down
I'm
here soon.
speechless. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Bruce Hoffner. I'm going to speak here about the petition from the Cable Advisory Committee, 9.15.
It's
The
not-
committee that
wait.
was rejected by the city and it's
Oh.
absent from tonight's agenda. This administration tends to listen to the community by putting on a fake listening session and assembling resident-based boards. But when
regards
push
to
comes
what?
to shove, they are continuously ignored. The agendas that benefit those in power are pushed forward. This latest move from the Batista administration through the chair.
That's
I mean,
you.
through the chair,
Oh, look, that was awesome.
is reminiscent of what went on Lincoln Street and has been experiencing for years as the city continues to ignore valid concerns from the taxpayers while moving to stuff nearly 100 people with substance and use disorder and mental
Oh,
illness
fuck
into
off,
a
dude.
hotel
He's talking about Oriole
that is
Drive.
next to an
Shut up.
already unmanageable methadone clinic in elementary school. I urge the city council to do your job
Do your job.
and hold the city manager and his employees accountable for the reckless decisions they are making
Oh, yeah,
for
get
your
mad, that'll help.
constituents. Thank you.
Don't
Why,
clap for
Jen?
that.
Why are you clapping?
Don't clap for that. People don't know what he's talking about. That's why.
Good afternoon, good evening, Maria Montano, City of Worcester. I'm not gonna come up here and keep bashing or anything, but the concern is there's a lot going on in this city. You make the
There's a lot
choices, you
going
make the
on.
decisions. At the end of the
It's
day,
true.
you're the boss. I guess the problem is there's people that are now grunt of your decisions, right? The cable is a problem. It's always been a problem. It was horrible during COVID when a lot of us parents had to do homeschool and it would constantly shut off on us. Right now, I called Spectrum yesterday, just as an example, to cut my TV service because I can't afford it. I'm paying $160 a month, right? I'm paying for 300 whatever for the service for the Wi-Fi. So they'll charge me $10 more so I can get 500 or whatever of the Wi-Fi. Not even 5 minutes after I got off the phone, it was acting up. That's the issue that they're having. We're paying for a service that doesn't work. At the end of the day, you already made your choice. It is what it is. I think that there's a lot of things going on that don't really affect you guys in the way that it affects the actual constituents that are here. And to piggyback on her point, these people aren't paying attention what you guys do here. They get the grunt of it after the fact that you guys make choices. And I'm a strong supporter. I'm not going to sit here and bash you, but I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because a lot of these decisions that you guys sit here and make on a daily affect everyday people that are just trying. If you look, we're the third worst highest nation in nationally to even be able to survive and live. And then on top of that, it's added more cost. And I don't want to sound disrespectful, but a lot of us have been saying it, especially my people in the people of color community. You say that you hired a lot of people that would reflect diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I don't see that. These people don't look like me. They don't look like nobody in our neighborhood. And they give you advice and they're giving you these plans and you use those and they're affecting us. So I think that you need to like take a step back, all of you guys, and come back to the reality of how would you feel living off of some of these people's paychecks or what they live off of? Just put yourself in that perspective. Because some of you guys are making really good money based off of 35 or whatever you're making. That's more than a lot of people in the community. So please take that into consideration because you guys keep doing this. And then people are coming here and they're upset and then you wonder why. Go and start talking to the people in your community because you guys keep doing this stuff. Have people that are here, again, no offense to anybody, none of them look like us. And they're giving you advice. They're giving you basically ideas that affect us on a daily. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, can I plug this lapel mic into my freaking computer?
Good
Oh my
evening. My name
God.
is Eleanor Lerner. I'm a Worcester resident. I'm also a college student here studying education.
Oh my God.
I'm here to talk about petition 7.8p.
Oh my God.
Guaranteeing public access to information about the quality of life task force. I'm in support of full support
Crisp
of the
audio
petition.
alert, baby.
I'm very concerned about how our city is treating unhoused residents. Some of the stories you hear, people are being very dehumanized and the services that are being offered aren't addressing the actual challenges people are facing or helping people move towards better quality of life. I want to see us acting with compassion and housing first solutions that respect the humanity and agency of unhoused people. Having transparency about what is currently happening is a really important and foundational step and frankly the bare minimum. I'm also a taxpayer here in Worcester and I want to know how our money is being used. I want my money to be used to support my community, not to make their lives unnecessarily harder, such as by sweeping encampments. I'm very inspired to see the leadership of unhoused people and advocating for solutions that work for them, and I hope this council will take their voices seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amen. Got there's some data on the extent of the encampment removals. I posted about in the most recent Worcester Sucks.
Of agenda items.
611 calls. And if you go, 3 responses per eviction, which is the norm, that means that like 200 camps have been evicted in 2023.
And that we have public meetings
Jesus.
for, that conversation be public and transparent, which brings me to the next point. 8P, that the city council request Eric Batista create public access to information about the quality of life task force, including its missions, duties, policies. You've used the term quality of life, you as in Mr. Mayor Petty, have used the term quality of life in a proclamation both this week and last, and it notably has a different meaning than when Worcester does it. I spent a significant number of time on the city public records request portal, and it's hard to find anything about this interdepartmental scapegoat beyond the people's names. Recently, I did the math to learn that in 2023, we paid $950,000 in payroll alone for the Quality of Life Task Force. I see the unhoused community's drastic growth as a direct metric on the success of our city administration. The worse infrastructure, the worse supports, the less accessibility, the more apathetic the people in power, the larger the number of people who are displaced, who are struggling to survive. After multiple allegations that the city administration and Quality of Life Task Force is hunting the homeless, our competent city manager talked to us about intention and focusing on people versus issues. But the issues did not cost us $950,000 last year in payroll alone. The people did. The Quality of Life Task Force did. How do we know they did a good job? Do you know if they did a good job? What is their job? How are we supposed to discuss this when you won't be transparent about their job? Let's be honest about what their role is here. Because if it's trash pickup, let me tell you, I walked up both Chandler and Grafton today, and we've been able to see it all winter too, but but now you can outright smell that they haven't been doing their job. We cannot make it about intention like City Manager Batista would like us to. We have to look at the city's actual impact. And the city's well-documented actual impact is simply displacing communities that are just trying to survive and get on their feet. Almost done. While pretending to be trash pickup. While calling a population that we failed a nuisance. If we want to actually address problems, we've got to stop pretending there isn't an internal problem. And on that note, item 915, the process and laws
You
around
can wrap it up, please. Thank you. You're over your time.
around renewal of the cable
It's so
contracts.
crazy how transparent like Joe Petty is. It's fucking crazy. We should start. We should run a clock.
Yeah.
I think we should start. I wonder if there's a way for us to get a clock on screen.
Is this your name and city of residence and item number?
Samantha Only from Worcester. I'm here today for item 8P, which addresses a vital issue of transparency within the Quality of Life Task Force, particularly concerning their interactions with the unhoused. It is imperative that we shed light on the operations of this task force, especially when there is such a difference in the narrative surrounding their actions, attitude, effort, and work. Transparency is the cornerstone of good governance and accountability. Without access to information about the task force methodologies, objectives, and outcomes, it becomes exceedingly difficult to ensure safety, compliance, and accountability. This is particularly concerning when the task force is regularly interacting with our most vulnerable, the unhoused, where we know that when we complain, it means nothing. I did a search online regarding quality of life, looking for anything I could find. Even on the city's informingworcester.gov site, where all documentation is supposed to be available, there was nothing. On the very front of the website, the city of Worcester is committed to an open and transparent government for its residents and constituent businesses. Quote, granting transparency in an area of law enforcement who deal with the vulnerable people who have spoken publicly about the issues with the task force does a justice this council has been failing to do. It is a minimal ask. Our voices typically fall on deaf ears when granting transparency would show us that our voices do indeed matter and we will be heard.
Thank you. Anybody else? What's your name, city residence, and item number?
Jennifer Gaskin, and let me find my item number. I'm sorry.
Where is it? I haven't.
My item number is 8B. Sorry, I'm slow today. Okay, so good evening, councilors. I was last here with my petition in December, just weeks, actually days after my husband passed away. I told you about my husband that evening. After that, I got feedback that some of you had reservations because you did not know my husband. You did not know Daniel. But whether or not you knew my husband or not, it doesn't make him any less deserving of this honor. Maybe you never spoke to him, or maybe you spoke to him just once. That doesn't mean that he didn't impact his community. Stand as a role model in our community of what it looks like to fight for your redemption and walk authentically in the judgment of many. I told you he was an OG, but I also need to tell you that he was a mentor, a mediator, and an advocate for many who are voiceless. He was a man who could and did stand in harm's way to prevent other Black men from following his treacherous youth path or ultimately dying due to violence in our streets. He commanded respect anywhere he went through his actions, not just his words. After my husband passed away, I received a handwritten note from his coworker, Jimmy. Jimmy is a lifelong resident of Worcester, so I will let him tell you what he thought of my husband. Dear Jennifer and family, we are very sorry for your loss of Dan. Please accept our deepest condolences. May God comfort you and your family in this time. Dan was a real man that I will miss. If every man had a small piece of him, the world would be a better place. He was a real stand-up man. As a city, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity here to do something that will bring healing to our community. My husband was a person who brought together many different people. Jimmy is a white Irish man who fought in Vietnam, but he loved my husband because my husband was a real man and he stood up on his values everywhere he went in this community. And it would be an opportunity for this city to honor someone like that, for people to be able to see a Black man is being honored in this city for the work that he did in the community. Not because he was a developer, not because he brought money to the city, but because he brought unity to a community. So whether you knew him or not, that doesn't diminish who he was as a person and his accomplishments and the reason why we should be honoring him here in the city of Worcester. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mark Lepane, a citizen of the city of Worcester, resident of Worcester. My petition is for the installation of a
Noam Chomsky, everyone.
cul-de-sac at the end of Merlin Court. Since we have moved to Merlin Court nearly 2 years ago, we've observed regular perpendicular parking on both sides of the cul-de-sac.
The guy from Up, everyone.
The juxtaposition between this guy, which will just get his sign, right, versus Jennifer, who's also just looking for some signage, right? That's also changes the sign. You have to tell Google it's a tiny stretch of road.
For any emergency vehicles.
This guy is going to get whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that no strangers park at the end of his cul-de-sac.
Around easily. So I think it would be appropriate to post a no parking sign at the cul-de-sac to prevent any further difficulties in the cul-de-sac. Thank you.
Stop saying it like that.
No, keep saying it that way.
The cul-de-sac.
The cul-de-sac.
My name is Keith Scott.
Oh, Keith.
Mr. Scott.
I was just thinking it'd been a while since we heard from Mr. Scott.
I'm getting ready to put the biggest fight that Worcester will ever see. And they always said that to hold me back and tap me on my shoulder and my legs and don't go that way or don't do that. Well, I'm going that way. And I want to make a point to campaign against everybody in this room right here. They say you don't have no clout. I don't want the clout. I just want to make sure that you all don't get back in. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No, I mean the vote is coming up.
No.
The vote is coming up.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially for you.
It's not on the agenda. Thank you.
Especially for you, Joe.
Yep, thank you. Yep.
That guy rules.
Yep.
Please. Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to speak?
He's not wrong, but this is an odd place to flex that.
What's your name, city residence, and item number?
Steve Quist, Worcester.
Here we go.
As a former member of the Cable Advisory Board, we represented close to 24,000 subscribers, 24,000 residents, 24,000 voters. We were the voice of the unheard. We were the voice of these subscribers that demanded change. Every meeting we had, there was
Steve
not
Quest
one
looks a lot
word
different the last time I saw him in person.
Not one.
Yeah.
I should be here, and I'm talking about 9.15. I should be here talking about a petition that we filed that was denied by the city solicitor. I was appointed to the Cable Advisory Committee in 2018 and started working wholeheartedly in 2019. I'm a lifelong resident of the city, and I've volunteered for the last 45 years in this city. When I volunteered to serve on the Cable Advisory Committee, I did not relinquish my constitutional rights. The law department referring to the SCOTUS case, Garcetti Sabellos, referred specifically to paid employees. As a matter of fact, if you look a few paragraphs down, you'll see it excluded volunteers. I was a volunteer. I've never received, as a committee member, a paycheck from the city. The ruling passed on in the city's denial of myself and Mr. Kios's ability to address our elected reps utilized a cut and paste, adding on volunteers, adding on Cable Advisory Committee, which was not the Supreme Court.
Low pony will change a man.
I want to repeat that. It was not the Supreme
It turns you into a sound guy.
Court. You'll see volunteers were excluded.
Big time.
Members of an advisory committee cannot petition the city council over a decision by the city manager.
Here's a fun
When public employees
document to look at. If this is boring you.
The employees are not speaking as citizens. for
That's,
First Amendment purposes, and the Constitution
all
does
the
not
Bureau of
enforce
Professional Standards
communication
investigations and the
employee
outcomes
discipline. Again,
in the
Gus said
Worcester
he
Police
pays
Department
dollars.
over the past couple
Look,
years, or I
we were
think
not paid
2023.
employees. We're volunteers. I spent 6 years on
Steve
this committee.
Sargent's on there.
We brought you
Doesn't say what
exactly
happened.
the game plan to have a successful negotiation. Repeatedly, Spectrum has violated
I wonder.
their word, their contract to the citizens and subscribers of the city. And yet we're willing to turn around and absolutely ignore a committee's findings to go plowing ahead with negotiations in spite of 24,000 subscribers. All I can tell you is I'm very disappointed in the action. We had no notification to begin with after all these years and had to read about this in the press. That's very disappointing.
Hey, let's not
Last
call
time I'll volunteer in the city.
Eric's blog the
We
press.
all can sit with this one. You have the power as the city council to direct the city manager how they should move forward. You are the board of directors. It is up to you, each one of you, to stand up for the 24,000 people that refuse to utilize Spectrum again. This is your job. He's accountable to you. Please utilize your powers because
This is the
you
guy
are
that runs Politics 101. Yep.
Thank you.
He used to call me Diamond Bill when I worked at Worcester Magazine.
Why?
And then he turned on me at one point. He doesn't like me anymore.
I was
Said mean things about
the,
police
chair of
officers, Bill.
Cable Television Advisory Committee until Sunday, where I had to resign after the city clerk denied our petition. I would respectfully ask that you actually read the Supreme Court decision and you look 2 paragraphs down and you will see that volunteers are excluded. Not only that, several cities in Massachusetts have lost that lawsuit and had to pay out for doing the exact same thing. So you should read further on that particular issue. But I want to just address the city solicitor's letter to the city council.
Nah, dog, we love getting sued.
That's what we do.
Yeah, it's our favorite hobby.
Jam,
the work
dude.
that we did in the very last paragraph, he says some things to kind of summarize it. So he says it would be premature and untenable to summarily deny the renewal of the license. We didn't ask for that. That's called revocation. That's a different paragraph in our license.
That may or
Read
may
the
not
license.
be why I go
We
off screen.
asked for non-renewal, which is a process, a federal process that is paid for by the licensee that allows us
I don't own my
leverage
house, so
to
every time I
ask
go off
for
screen, I
some
go
of the
all the
things
way
that they've done
downstairs
wrong, which is
outside to
fixed.
smoke.
Again, read the actual license. We spent years diving into this information. We hired 2 different consultants for the first time ever in relation to cable. We hired an outside attorney. We spent tens of thousands of
It could be
dollars
cool to schedule
for you to
I know this is probably just
tell
me,
us
maybe Brendan, but
through a blog
if anybody
post
wants to meet up
that
at
you were
like a
just gonna
park or
reject
something,
our
we
stuff.
can just smoke
You said you
together and hang out.
appreciated our work.
Talk about whatever.
Smoke
treated us
weed
like
every
we're not people
day.
by not reaching out to us directly. You know me. You could have texted.
Yeah,
you could have
I'll
called.
join. I'll take one hit and then ask
found
why you
out
guys
that
all
way.
hate me.
So I think. But if you look to your own
John
agenda
Keogh.
tonight,
Keogh.
Item 7A will show you some of the confusion that comes from the cable television license. Item 7A is charter asking for access to a conduit. The item below it is National Grid and Verizon. If you look, it's a co-owned pole. Charter does not own any of the poles. It's a rental agreement. We are the landlord and they are a tenant. We didn't ask for revocation. We asked for non-renewal. There is a deadline. The city solicitor is wrong. There is actually a statutory deadline. It's 90 days before the end of the contract that you have to ask for non-renewal. So you got that wrong. Read the full license. I'm available to talk about this with anybody. I've talked to a lot of you on the phone and over emails, but you guys are not experts, and it's clear from your communication that you didn't read. It's not that hard. We spent a lot of time reading, and all of the people were volunteers spending all the time learning all this information to present it to you.
I think so.
And then to find out in the blog post. It's pretty rough.
Yes, he is.
So, you know, read up and make a decision. And you guys should be the ones who are doing the right thing. This should be an 11-0 vote. Basic, simple, easy. Last thing, Judy Warren, the Director of Cable Services, right up there. If you read my report, you will see that Spectrum has abused her for a decade straight. Why would we want to be in business with them? For what? What do we get out of it? If cable goes away, that's okay because it's going to go away anyways. The technology is obsolete. Why not think about a city without cable? If you want to be a visionary leader, vision past an obsolete technology. Go to the next step. It's going to go away anyways. This morning, they announced 2 packages for streaming for the same channels. They're competing with themselves because they
Be
don't
a visionary.
care about cable. They don't care about the city
New
of Worcester.
technologies.
And you said
We don't
you're
do that
in
here.
negotiations.
TV you can
absolutely right.
taste.
Charter is negotiating with you in public.
Oh, the Mike
We wrote a
TV.
letter together last October.
Be a visionary. Update your zoning laws one time since 1982.
They've since done the same charge twice,
Communist.
$7. And then Maria just pointed out that her bill went up to 160. That's from 153 last month. No notice to the city. $7 more. They continually violate the contract. That's negotiations. They're telling you they don't care about your contract in public to your face. So if you want a real negotiation,
Spectrum's making you guys look like
that's what I did. That's why I
some
joined the board. That's why the mayor asked me 4 years
little
ago.
babies.
That's what I do. I've
I
negotiated.
mean, that's
license
kind of the
for
thing, though,
nonprofits
and that's
for
the
years.
part that sucks. Is
I'm good
this
at that.
city is full of
So
professionals
let us do our work.
that
But in
like to
this case,
pretend like they know how
you
to play
shut us down
hardball
for
with
no reason.
corporations. I mean, you're talking about like actual corporations here. There is nobody that is employed by the city of Worcester who is even remotely qualified to be entering into contract negotiations with a corporation the size of Spectrum. That's just reality. Like that's what you hire outside counsel strictly for that purpose.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm Yenny DeRoche. I am on the west side
Yenny.
of Worcester, and I just wanted to, make sure that all of you were actually listening to John there. Everything he said, I'm adding on to and agreeing with. But I want to add an additional component to it, which is that this completely flies in the face of democracy. The city council, from what I've heard from every city councilor, is that we have problems with Spectrum. We have problems with them actually adhering to the repairs that they need to do, to all of the different problems that we have with them. The advisory committee
we have more
wants us
Deepest
to
Valley
be able to
and-
renegotiate with them to push back on the problems that we need fixed by them. Instead, our city manager unilaterally has said, nah, I'm going to ignore the elected officials. I'm going to ignore our advisory committee, and instead I'm going to make my own decision. Now, honestly, I don't have problems with Batista on most things, but on this, I have issues because it shows the problems with the role, not necessarily Batista himself. I am talking specifically about the role in terms of democracy. So please let democracy actually affect things here in Worcester and not block it. I also wanted to support Jennifer Gaskin's item, and I hope you have a good night because I know commenting on both of these is probably not going to matter. Thank you.
Yes, Yeti. Way to get that dig in at the end.
That was awesome.
Thank you, for
Epic.
the other individuals who have stood up and spoken on these particular issues. I'm also calling regarding 9.15, and I think it is somewhat shocking that the city manager has decided to ignore a unanimous decision from the advisory committee and to proceed in negotiations with Spectrum and Charter. They have
That's really who's
routinely
commenting
shown
right now.
that they operate in bad faith. That frankly, they do not care about the constituents and the residents of the city of Worcester. That was shown through their public comments, their public listening sessions, and the feedback from thousands of residents of the city.
Great job,
as
Yanni.
I said,
Yeah, really
we
nice job,
really
Yanni.
need to rely
The dig at
on
the end was
experts,
great.
rely on the people who have done the work. Our city advisory, our advisory committee did that. They did the work. They did this listening and everything else. And frankly, we should be listening to them. I really think that we should be looking towards the future and not the past. As others have said, cable is frankly antiquated. It's going away. It's dying. There's a reason why TV replaced radio and internet is replacing TV. While I recognize
Let's go all
that
the way
this does
back.
not
Messenger
include
bird time.
Internet, we should be
Video killed the radio star, folks.
possible deal we can for our residents.
Are
And
you
that
calling the
means
Buggles
not
liars?
renewing with charter inspection. Again, they have repeatedly shown they
Oh,
do
it's
not
stuck
care
in my
about the
head.
residents of the city.
Mhm.
They do not care about keeping their word on their contract. This has been shown time and time again. And I don't know why the city has decided that moving forward with their own service, whether it be through broadband or otherwise, is not reliable, given the fact that our neighbors in Shrewsbury have and are very happy with it and
Thank
pay
you.
less than what I pay for the slowest.
I've heard that before.
Thank you.
While Eric doesn't have a screen up, could you just share that
more
sheet?
and
Just
with
because people are asking earlier, that's the current Worcester lobbyist for Spectrum. John Maurer lives on Barbara Ave in Worcester. Again, this is all public records. This is nothing creepy or weird. It's
We're
just
not doxing anybody. Calm
to have
down,
city
everybody.
that's
We're
ready
not
for this.
doxing anybody.
And frankly,
But you do have to register as a
they will
lobbyist
not
in
be beholden
Massachusetts,
to a
and
contract or to the city
it's
enforcing
interesting
their
that
word.
for a company that
We
big,
should not move forward with this.
they always have a
The city
person who lives
council,
in
again,
Worcester or
should
one of the
go
neighboring
as a weapon
towns
to the
that
vote to
lobbies
basically
Worcester
say,
on their behalf.
We want to order the city.
Yeah, and if you look, there's only 2 people from Charter or Spectrum that work in Massachusetts as lobbyists, and this just speaks to how important Worcester is to them.
Totally.
Name to your residence and item number.
Mauro Di Pasquale, Executive Director, WCCA TV, Worcester Citizen. I'm here representing WCCA TV, not to comment on the pending dispute between the city manager and former members of the Cable Advisory Committee. WCCA has attended every cable advisory meeting in the last nearly 4 years. Actually, we've attended every
Or looks
one
good
in
in
the
the
last
beard.
25 years in good faith.
Yeah, he's looking sharp.
And we contributed years of our experience and information to support the ascertainment process. From what we know, most cities use renewal as a way to work out cable-related issues, not denial. So we support the renewal approach, but it's not our role to weigh in on it. I'm here to gratefully, on behalf of the entire community of thousands of community producers and guests of the station and students, volunteers and staff, to express our appreciation to the Cable Advisory Committee for the work that they did.
Oh, yeah.
And
This is
recognizing
the
the
tactic.
high level of commitment and creativity of the public access channels, the Public One, WCCA TV, education, and government channels. And I also equally thankful to the city manager for his concern to ensure that our current 3 PEG channels have the opportunity and revenues
You
to
got 3 pegging channels? I've never seen those.
Hot dog.
cable subscribers and gross revenues generated by Charter Spectrum. The city manager
All the
has
revenue generated by Charter is gross.
seasoned
And for pegging.
solicitor.
This is also important though too, because again, not
Letterer,
passing judgment. It's just a simple matter of reality. The PEG channels are funded via fees that are tacked on to your bill as a customer. Morrow and his wife's salary are both paid for by those fees, and they're not insignificant. Again, won't dox anyone. You can go to GuideStar, get a free account, they file every year. It's a not insignificant. They're healthy 6-figure salaries that come out of fees collected by Charter by way of a small tax that's on each one of your bills.
And that's our lifeline.
It's not to weigh in
funding.
on the value of WCCA. Great stuff, but this guy is advocating for his salary
job
and his lifestyle and his living.
Cable franchise law is based.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking obvious.
Rights of way.
I'm just trying to be nice because we were just talking about putting their damn show up there.
But they're not opting out of TV. Many move to
Listen,
the
you gotta
internet
get your
services.
paper.
They get
No
TV,
one's-
they get everything else they need.
Yeah,
No one's hating on the game here. Yeah.
That's rights of way. No one's talking about that. It's easy to say Charter is the bad guy. Cable is obsolete, but not the infrastructure. They're still using.
Yeah, and I like my house, and my mortgage isn't paid off.
To our backyard, to our streets.
My
in our
jazz band
buildings,
needs more
over
instruments.
in our airspace. Those are rights of way. So, look, it's still TV when in the end. So it's still, we believe it's still subject to franchise regulations, because a duck is a duck, whether you put clothes on it, lipstick or high heels, it's still a duck. It's still TV. And our legislators and the FCC need
we
to
find
fix
that show on
We've been
WCCA?
fighting about that for the last maybe 30 years.
Lipstick duck on the
Every
pegging
time I
channel.
come in front of the city council relative to cable advisory stuff, it's the same thing. It all comes down to the FCC rules. We just have to get our legislators on the ball. And we do actually in Massachusetts. Mike Moore has done a lot of work in pushing bills forward, but we have to get the rest of them in on it. The problem is these cable companies are making billions of dollars through the rights of way. They're spending $15 billion on lobbying in Washington. The former president, the former chair of the FCC, his wife was a leading attorney for the industry.
Okay, can you wrap up your comments?
Well, now he's saying bad stuff. Hold on, let's cut him off.
So we hope that
Yup.
legislators find the good sense to mandate franchise regulations to be applied to cable, to phone providers, to include internet, TV, telephone service in calculating the gross revenues for franchise license conditions. Until then, without any further reduction of current PEG funding, this year will be more than a dire challenge. It's miserable for us to continue. So please remember, negotiation while you're
That's
going
totally
through
the case, Annie. We were talking about that earlier as well too, and I think that's one of the challenges that it does exist is when we're talking about these contracts. Unfortunately, the majority of the city, in their minds, internet and cable are inextricably
Thank you
linked.
for your time, and have a good night.
But it's also a better argument too for community or municipal broadband. It's
We'll just go through the
remember it was
petition,
like
we'll come
15,
back
20
to
years
item
ago. We were joking after a senator said the
petitions,
internet
hearings,
is
and
like a
orders,
series of
motion to
tubes.
open the
Turns out it
hearing.
kind of is, right? Like we're at the point where you don't need corporate gatekeepers for the internet. Like it can just be a municipal service. I think it was.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Classic.
Hearing is open.
Yeah, totally. But you know, in a weird way, after all this time has passed, kind of right. Like,
yeah,
you don't need corporate gatekeepers anymore.
All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 8A to 8B, we're for the Public Works. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Thank you, everyone, for speaking. Now we will show you that it didn't matter.
You're just doing electric and conduit petitions?
I just
Or were
did
you
7A
doing
and 7B.
Seven, okay, because I wanted to speak
Kate's
on
confused.
the petition regarding from Mr. Davis.
I like the little American flag
Oh,
on the.
all right, okay.
I was gonna say that seems new.
Thank you.
It is.
Is it? It's Memorial. It's for
8A
Memorial
and
Day. I think they all have
8B,
them.
for the Public Works. All those in favor.
Memorial Day?
Yeah,
Is that coming up?
27th. Yeah, the 27th.
8C to 8J,
okay.
refer to traffic and parking. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 8K to 8N, we're going to refer to a hearing for May 28, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. 8O, Gordon Davis requests City Council requests Stand Committee on Public Safety investigate the issue of systemic racism and public safety with public hearings included. Council Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're actually going to be having a public safety committee meeting at
What?
the end of this month.
Is it a full moon already?
29th, and the crime statistics will be discussed at that point. Therefore, I'm going to file this petition. Thank you.
That's not what the petition was for. It was about systemic racism, not crime statistics. But okay,
I would like
go
a
off.
vote
on that one.
What's that?
I would like a vote on that one.
Okay, do a roll call. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Yes. Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
No.
Councilor King? Councilor Mark Carlson? Councilor Nian?
No.
Councilor Ojeda?
No.
Councilor Basillo?
No.
Councilor Russell?
No.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
No.
Mr. Mayor, that motion fails.
Okay, next is 8P. We're going to send that to the manager.
Mr. Chairman, what do we do with it then if it failed? Was it filed? Was it not enough votes to file? I lost you.
Send it to the manager. What are you talking about, George?
Yeah, now you got to vote on the actual motion.
Those in favor, opposed, so
You
ordered.
do what it says it does on the agenda. Do you fucking? How long you been doing this?
Mr.
Jesus
Chair,
Christ!
part of the reason why I filed it is we are addressing the crime statistics and the issues that were brought up here, but part of the other
Racism.
reason I wanted to file that was because there's inaccuracies on here, and we can discuss all of these and should be discussing issues relating to crime statistics and the impact on our community.
She almost said it.
The issue of systemic racism.
Whoa!
That all the time. But
She
there
did
are
not want
inaccuracies
to.
on
She
this
ran out of brain space.
Okay.
Well, inaccuracies. It's like one sentence.
Clarify, so the vote to file failed, so it has to be some action. You can table it if you like.
No idea if this is related, but did you guys catch in the Globe that Senator Markey is looking to start pushing for like investigations on the company that runs ShotSmarter?
Yes.
I'm kind of wondering if that's going to sideline stuff like this, where using the data that we have in departments that are very reliant upon ShotSmarter and their parent company, if they don't want to start going public with stuff like that to make their case until they figure out where that's going.
Cool.
Transmitting information communication of the process and governing law for renewal of the cable license. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to take this moment just to say a few words and then provide some questions. The council has some questions. We also, the solicitor will be here to answer any questions, but we also have online the consultants who've been working with us through this process that the committee has worked with. They're also online. And so if there are any particular questions that the council may have, the consultants could be able to answer directly in pertaining to the contract process with
How much is
Spectrum.
this kickback?
So I don't
know, but let's get ready to
first, I wanna
Google what she starts
clarify
dropping
this. I think
names.
There's still some misconception that people think we're negotiating or we're a contract with Spectrum regarding cable and internet. So I want to clarify that. It's not internet, it's not telephone, it's strictly cable. So that's important for everybody to hear that and understand that. Two, I know there's been some conversations about the ownership of the poles and who owns the poles in the city. We're talking about the wooden poles that are particularly in neighborhoods. And there was a long conversation here recently about National Grid wanting to lay conduit in front of a property and instead of doing it in the back of the property in the poles, et cetera. These poles are owned by National Grid and Verizon. The city does not own these poles. Spectrum does rent to utilize these poles and lay the lines through these poles. However, the rest of the infrastructure, it's underneath, it's underground in the majority of the city.
Where it
The
should
city
be.
does own the streetlight poles, the traffic poles. The city does own those poles. So I want to clarify that as well. And then I think there's been a lot of conversation where people assume currently right now that the city, it's either in full negotiations or we have already signed a contract with Spectrum. And that is completely false. It's not true. We have signed no contract. We haven't even started the beginning phases of the negotiation. We're just in the preliminary phase there. And now, again, the consultants are here who could speak a little further about that. So I want to dispel that because there's been conversation, there's been some articles written that misinterpret what's happening. And the city manager has not signed a contract. And we do not have.
This really clears it up.
Have
Eric.
Yeah.
and
I'm
that's
quelled.
for people to understand.
We might not have a contract with Spectrum.
I take every
This is a Bucky's shirt to go along with Bill's Bucky's hat. Thank you for noticing.
the members of this community.
We're trying to coordinate the stream.
We're
committees,
not
Brian and Travis
sponsored
emailed us.
yet.
I bought everything else that they make at Bucky's. I just didn't buy any clothing for myself.
It's a disrespect to me in terms of my job and my ability to do my work and listening to people. I've been working in this city for 11
Brendan,
years.
let's get a shot of that Bucky's thing for a
I'm
screenshot
user
here.
of the city. And I know the challenges and the frustrations that we have with Spectrum.
Okay, I'm tweeting at Bucky's now.
Years as a resident of this community, and I'm continuously a resident of this community. My family is a resident of this community, and so I hear it not only from residents, but I hear it from family members of frustrations and concerns about Spectrums and their services. So I think to insinuate or to make commentary in regards to that I find that very not
Listen,
appropriate.
People
And
bitch
so
at me all the time, man. So I don't know what everyone's trying to say.
That as city manager,
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We think we could put half of Worcester out of business by bringing the Bucky's in, but in a totally positive way. And it's the best pathway to a massive number of local superchargers in the city. I know they're known for gasoline, but they tend to also have an equal amount of superchargers on site.
I thought they were closing down superchargers. I thought they're going out of business.
I think if I was just
At Bucky's?
No, isn't Tesla shutting down the supercharger division?
Ones that they run, I think, but like you can still buy them out as they're relying on private sector to.
I am
to
open
contract
to
them out.
fruitful conversation around this topic. We have consultants who will be able to answer.
He's
the direct
backpedaling on
questions
the.
and
He's
concerns
saying that he
people
did
may
listen
have,
to the group.
Because I think there's been a lot of misinformation that has happened across the
Man.
media, that people are concerned and people don't really know, and people are confused.
I
People don't know
don't
because you
know
didn't
if it's
fucking tell them.
weird to blame the media when it's the people on the commission
Right.
that are resigning and showing up.
Joe's gotta get down on the floor and carry water.
Well, thank you.
Oh, God damn it.
All right, Joe, get to work.
I hate seeing her in that chair.
That's gross.
Really annoying when Christian's not there.
Kate's fit makes me think that she may have gone to an American Girl store over the weekend and bought like the matching
I had the
outfit for your
chance to
doll.
talk to the people from the advisory
Happy Mother's doll.
past, over the weekend, and also the city manager and his team. And at the end of the day, whether we do renewal, non-renewal,
Who cares? I'm not paying attention.
I don't use the internet. I'm too old.
Committee has felt, right?
Look at my glasses. They're barely stuck on my face.
And how do we repair that? And because at the end of the day, we have a lot of passionate people here. Yourself, Mr. Manager, the people on the advisory
I don't even know how to use the television. My wife has to turn it on for me.
And what they want us to go forward.
Gail, get the clicker.
Everybody was on the same page.
They probably call it the button in their family. They're one of
Nobody- I
those.
think the communication could have been better at the end of the day.
Do you think he taped it to his TV by cord just for nostalgia's sake?
Going forward.
And to not
Because
lose
what I
it?
did learn over the last
Still has one of the old Greater Media boxes. It's tethered to the TV. It's just the push buttons.
and
You push two of them at the same time. You can watch Skinamax half scrambled.
I'm here, Mr. Mayor. My name's Jerry Lederer.
I'm here, Mr. Mayor.
That is not a real person.
I just on the ascertainment period. When does the ascertainment period end? And if a decision was to be made whether to go to renewal or non-renewal, when does that have to happen? Bye.
Heidi ho there, Mr. Mayor.
Oh,
The
my goodness.
ascertainment process starts
This guy rules.
36 months.
Hi, my
before
name's
the
Lindsey Graham.
expiration Of the franchise. And
This is
so
totally a Jim Henson production.
Worcester made the investment to bring in an expert to go through the process and identify with the commission the needs and interests.
This is
for
a Chris
today
Farley
and
character.
future, for the community.
What
When
you see here?
the ascertainment process ends,
This is Chris Farley
typically
playing David.
when a
You gotta
renewal
ascertain.
is signed or a renewal is denied and the litigation moves forward. So the ascertainment process really never ends until the agreement is signed or an agreement
Yo, that ass is tame.
torn up.
So do we have a time period of October to do a non-renewal or renewal?
This guy.
Mr. Mayor,
Went,
that's
this guy is
that's a
absolutely went to
wonderful question,
Loyola
and
College.
It's something that it's something
He
where
did a little. He did
where
a little
the
Second
rules
City,
don't
few Second
necessarily
City classes
follow
in the
practice.
'80s.
The federal law says
Not
47
blow off
USC
at John
542
Belushi.
says that you cannot provide cable service without a
Or it's
cable
like Jambi
franchise.
from
And the
Pee Wee
way that
Herman.
that's been
It's
interpreted,
like a head in
sir,
a box.
is
He
that
looked like Jambi.
even if the franchise is expired, the
Mecca like a
existing
high,
franchise
Mecca
has to
hiney
be
ho.
honored until it's either renewed or it's torn up. So in this case, we actually did enter in with the Cable Commission's approval an extension for a year. We sent that to the DTC, the Department of Telecommunications and Cable. That's the only agreement that has been reached.
This guy is totally green screening this background and that shirt. He is on a beach in the Caribbean right now, and as soon as this call is over, it just
worked through
back
negotiations.
to doing nothing.
Negotiations
Off screen
themselves
is
are only
for
now
sure a tiki
about to
drink
begin.
in a coconut.
What we did was we took
And his
the
assistant holding a
ascertainment
flashlight
process,
on
we
his
took
face.
the input from the commission, and we took the existing franchise agreement, or in the Commonwealth, it's known as a license agreement, a cable license, and we redlined it totally through and sent it to Charter. We only received their response back about a week and a half ago. Because of some other events, we only got to sit down.
Check out
as a
this
team
hot
to go
sunset pic
through
coming in.
About half of it today.
Courtesy
We're gonna
Katie
finish
from our
on
porch.
Friday.
We got a
And
sunset
so
porch over
the
here.
idea that somehow negotiations have been taking
Check it out.
place.
Whoa.
Actually not accurate. There have been no
Golly.
negotiations. The only
Wow.
conversations there have been between the city.
Thank you for that link,
and
Sally.
Charter,
Interesting to note that he
have
is not
been
barred in
to seek a
Massachusetts,
copy of the extension.
which I'm sure. I mean, he's
They
talking
had
federal
signed the
law, but just kind of
extension,
interesting
but
that
failed to send
we
it
hired
back.
him as a consultant,
And
and
again,
nothing he's saying is
Federal
applicable
law
to state law.
makes it clear that we were fully protected, that they could
And
not
he
continue to provide
is
cable
barred
television
in Grand
unless they
Cayman.
were agreeing to honor the terms of the existing franchise, and they have been doing that.
Okay, so there is no, so for this, what's your recommendation? If we did a non-renewal, is there a time period for that right now? Are we under, or do we have a month?
They come back and he takes a big sip of a ranch water.
We have all the time that we need because Charter Spectrum
It's
isn't
cool that we got the mayor
going
of
to
TV
go
land.
anywhere. And again, they have to honor our existing franchise until which time that
Doug
franchise
Dimsdale,
is
owner of the
withdrawn
Dimsdale Dimmadome.
or, that franchise is renewed. We see a significant number of benefits that we've asked for, and we've already seen where, Charter is amenable to a number of those changes. For instance, one of the things that was identified was the move from standard definition television to HD.
That's just the legal term for our contract with Charter, Yenny.
They have indicated that that's acceptable. We have asked for a certain amount of support. Not surprisingly, they have not responded to that with a number. They've responded to that with an offer to negotiate or to discuss. The other thing that we're doing is that
Could one of you
2019
from the private chat
during
drop this in the
Trump
group chat? I feel like
the
it
Trump
might be helpful for
FCC,
people following along. That's the
undercut
84
a
Telecommunications
tradition
Act that
most local governments, especially local
where a lot of the
governments
terms
in
they're discussing are
Commonwealth have had.
initially the idea was we were
certain
going to be basically selling franchises to
requirements
small
in our
cable
franchise
providers as the
agreements.
industry
Things
consolidated.
like
Those
provisions
franchises
that
became what we know
things
now as
like
regional
service
monopolies, and it
to
was not
government
intentional. It
buildings,
was just a byproduct of the way the
libraries, and
industry
schools.
consolidated.
The FCC back in 2019 said that the cable company could deduct from its franchise fees the market value of those non-monetary
This
obligations.
guy, he's got the voice of a comedy
I was very
character.
pleased
And
my firm took that up and we
can't
had it
place exactly
overturned.
who it is.
But so it's not the market cost, but it's the,
It's
the
almost the
in fact,
Chris
in this
Farley,
case,
Van
Charter
Down by the
is
River.
acknowledging, that they're
It is
gonna
very close to that.
But there's something
voluntarily
else
those
too.
services for free, or at
I'm
least that's
thinking
their opening
maybe a
counsel.
David Keckner.
But there's those types of issues that we have to work through as well to be consistent or be responsive to some of the changes that a Trump FCC put in place that we've not been able to get the Biden FCC to address because they only recently resulted or achieved the
Yes, Jeff.
Democratic majority.
Mr. Mayor?
So how would you recommend, so would you recommend a non-renewal at this point or a point later in time?
No, sir. My recommendation
No,
would
sir.
be that we follow the process. We negotiate to see where they come out, and then your cable negotiating team through with the city solicitor as our lead would interact and share that update with the manager for sharing with the council. I think at this point it would be premature to say it would be premature to say that we should renew, but it would be equally premature to say that we should deny. And in fact, if we thought about denying, we would have to have a pretty detailed legal analysis as to the level of exposure we have, because I don't know that we've built the case yet for denial.
Okay, and just to go over that real quick, the committee did some good work on this, the advisory committee, and some of the things they brought to light is, and maybe we can talk about, but I don't know if you get a chance to read Michael Tran's report, and he has 4 items there regarding renewal, non-renewal, whether you can renew it or not renew it. And one of the things the advisory committee came out with, let's take one example here. The senior discount was just taken off for the seniors in Worcester. Is the senior discount is that mandatory? And does charter have the right to take the senior discount?
Mr. Letterer?
Yes, the senior discount is mandatory under our existing cable franchise. Charter has acknowledged that their prior representative was wrong in his statement that there was no senior discount in the city. They've agreed that that's an error, and they have agreed to make amends. We haven't defined exactly what that is, but what we'd like to do is we'd like to have some sort of a public statement equivalent to
Free
the
Skinamax
error
for all
that they
seniors.
made. We'd like to encourage everyone that's watching tonight.
2 more pegging channels.
The senior discount, please reach out and ask for it. Again, it is there. It's something that your team negotiated 12 years ago.
There you go, Brendan.
Still in place. The
One more to add to the pile.
we've accepted this counter, but the counter that Charter is offering is that
I'd like to
those that
thank
have
all
a
of you young folks
discount,
watching
they
tonight
would
for
continue
subsidizing
to
my
receive
Fortnite play.
under the new franchise if we grant one on a renewal. I don't know that we're ready to settle for that. That would then sort of expire. But yes, there is a senior discount today in the city of Worcester. It was earned at the negotiating table by the
Ruth, you should
leadership
totally
of the
apply if
city
you
12 years
can
ago,
get it.
13 years ago. And if you're eligible for it, please apply for it. If for no other reason, that if they are successful in limiting it to only people that have it now, we want to get as many.
That might actually be the right way to mobilize cranks in Worcester, right? Like, I mean, talking to strong mayor goes nowhere. Talking about them all simultaneously applying for a retroactive discount on their cable bill going back 12 years, you might be able to bankrupt, a large national corporation.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I apologize. I think, ma'am, I apologize for not waiting for the chair. Excuse me. Mr. Mayor, that is in fact what we are pursuing. We're having a little bit of a difficulty from a privacy standpoint. We have the names of the folks that were denied, we think wrongly denied. We
That doesn't
need
work
to
for
get
internet.
their
You
permission
should
to
try it
share that
regardless.
information with Charter, or to give them a contact at Charter to in fact look to get a retroactive makeup. I mean, I know that's not the correct word, right? But to make them whole for the discount that they should have been receiving from the time they were denied.
Okay. So by them admitting to this, I guess that takes our power away in regards to denial of renewal must be based on adverse findings. Is that a fair statement? Or if they're going to go back and make us whole? I'm just trying to get my hands around. In the report tonight,
Make
it
us
says
whole with
these are
pegging.
4 stands where the cable
Dig it.
operator has substantially complied with material terms, the existing franchise, and applicable law. It has 3 other things, 3 other components to this.
Yes, sir. Those are all from federal law. Those are established in federal
Night,
law,
Yanni.
one of which being
Night, Yanni.
non-compliance with an existing franchise.
Good night.
And that was a term. Typically, a single non-compliance, especially when the cable operator has made an offer to make the community whole, is difficult, because traditionally what courts have said is that if you point out that there's a non-compliance, have you given an opportunity to cure? And if you have, and they haven't cured, then that's the type of grounds for denial. In this case, we pointed it out. They've agreed that they were wrong. They've agreed that it was an error that was publicly stated by an individual that's no longer with the company. And they are exploring with us ways to not only reinstate, the senior discount at present, but also to make those.
We are going to be here for a million hours.
For the sake of time, I'll just.
He's
go over real
avoiding
quickly,
payments.
what
The
he
word
would
payments
say
so
that,
hard.
that he didn't
Make
comply with
whole is the only
contract.
thing he'll say.
Clear communications is supposed to be a 30-day response from them. I don't think we wrote letters, and the advisory committee wrote letters. and we get no response. Maybe that's not substantial, I'm not sure. Any of these late fee issues where people don't get their bill until the day before it's due, and sometimes we charge late fees. I think that's a national issue. I'm not sure if that's a compliance issue. Stop the service reports. I don't know if we do get the service reports on a regular basis. We used to at one time. Payments to this, them paying to the city. I'm not sure if that's on time. Are they late on that? Usually they pay us on time, but probably a few weeks late here and there, I suppose. And I guess one other thing is that was brought to my attention was it was supposed to build a fiber connection between City Hall, CCA, and Techno High School. Is that a fair statement? Or,
Well, not just there, sir. No, what the franchise provided, again, it was terrific negotiating, whoever did your work. What the franchise provided was that there's what's called backhaul. That is the connection from where our PEG, our public education and governmental channels are located, where they're doing the production. There's a requirement under the existing franchise that there be a high-speed connection back to the cable company's head end or their central office, right? And what the franchise said is that it would be fiber or fiber equivalent. And that was one of the issues that the Cable Commission asked us to investigate, and we have
Good one, Digital Render.
that the first time that we met with them, one, we got the extension. Two, we talked about the senior discount, and the third thing that we did talk about, aside from the franchise renewal, was that we weren't going to be able to move forward until we addressed those.
Yeah, he's in a void.
Was in fact a clarification, a documentation that the connections between
I'm
our
picturing
PEG
him calling
centers
from underneath the
and
desk.
their head end was in fact in compliance with those terms, i.e. PEG or its equivalent. So they owe us a schematic.
No kink
on
shaming.
that.
But this guy's really into pegging.
fact, it's
Yeah,
gonna come
really
over
He was talking about pegging.
because,
Kind of weird.
If we grant renewal, we're going to have that very high-speed connection to support the HD TV programming getting out over to the head end. And, the idea that somehow they're going to come back and ask for us to pay for any kind of an upgrade, it's going to be a little hard for them to make that since they've already committed 12 years ago to providing fiber or a fiber equivalent.
It's fair.
way to wrap it up. And your advice to us is continue to go.
I've learned very little from this presentation.
Yeah. This guy starts talking and my brain turns off.
Does Joe not have a time limit? Serious question.
But the interesting
If
part
Christian
is
was in the
advisors
chair, you know
gave
you
us
would.
a list
Yeah.
of these issues, and it seems to be on target.
Yeah, that was so
Christian-
awesome last week. I forgot about that when Christian and Mo got into a fight.
And,
Yeah, that was
so
pretty
it's something
sick.
that's up to
That
negotiation.
ruled.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
if,
Mr. Mayor.
I apologize, ma'am. I keep forgetting to wait for you to give me the.
That's okay.
Mr.
used to
Mayor,
it.
what the Cable Commission has done.
Joe's laughing
is-
too. It's
is
awesome.
Yeoman's work. I mean, I've been doing
Yikes.
this for a long time, and I'm not sure that I've ever seen a Cable Commission that's as committed to the process as what you have. In
Peter, we so such a
We're in
narcissist
an
move.
enviable
To just be
position
so
that we've
insistent. You
got
have to
that
go
kind
through
of
me.
community
Have to go through me.
support. And every one of the things that they
I'm used
raised
to
with
it.
us have been our point issues. As I said, until we actually got acknowledgement that the senior discount was wrong and that they owed us a schematic to demonstrate that they were meeting the fiber
I
or
still
the
like
fiber
Bruce Farley
equivalent.
playing David
We
Byrne,
weren't
the lead
moving
singer of Talking
forward.
Heads.
We were. Yeah, so we've got that. We've got to get that fully worked out, and we hope
We're playing
again,
the concert
the
in advance
city
down by the
solicitor's
river.
game plan for all of us is to get through this red line as quickly
This is not my beautiful
but
plan.
as accurately as possible, so that we can report back to both the elected leadership and the appointed leadership within the community of where things stand.
You know what it is? It's Jordan Peterson.
We haven't gotten there yet because we've only got the red line about a week and a half ago. So we're fully committed to be. I think you said it right, Mr. Mayor, that it seems like everybody has the same goal. Everyone is in the same spot. Perhaps we just need to do a little bit better job on communication, and I'll take the rap for that, because, you know, as I said, your cable administrator and your city solicitor.
Now that
have
the
been
check's
fully
signed
committed to
and
this.
I've deposited the
We're
money, I'll
getting
take the rap for the
proposal
lack
back
of
from them.
communication.
You know, one of their
You guys
one
can't
of
tell
their
where I am or where my
excuses,
family is.
and
I'll
maybe
take
it
the
was
rap.
legit, was that they had let the gentleman go that was making the false representations about senior discounts, and they were needing some extra time to bring new leadership in to help negotiate the deal.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the
Mr. Mayor,
manager want to speak?
Yeah, again, Jerry, thank you for those words. Again, one of the things that I want to restate that also he mentioned right now is the work that the committee has done. I've recognized that multiple times, and it's been extremely important. Part of my conversations to the committee was also extending, for the first time that any city manager has offered, I extended the invitation for them to be involved in negotiations. We haven't started that, so that extension and that invitation hasn't started yet. But the invitation is there, and it has been there since I first met with the Cable Advisory Group in my office, and they asked me, could we be part of them? And I said, absolutely. I wouldn't object to that.
That's
So
not what
again,
the news article said.
I think there's been a level of misinformation or miscommunication. But again, I've been very specific in one, supporting the work that they're doing, but also inviting them to be also involved at the table, which is the first time any city manager has invited a cable advisory membership to be involved in the negotiation process.
Well, luckily there's no more cable advisory committee.
Mayor.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, one extra guy in the room.
When you do come back, there should be a public hearing, there's no question about it. If any recommendations, that we should have a public hearing with Public Service and Transportation, the Advisory Commission on Cable Advisory, and just to talk about this, whatever you come up with at the end of the day. I think that's fair enough.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Mr. Lederer, would you like to be recognized?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to tell you that that's a promise that we're going to make to you. But you have even better than that. Federal law and Commonwealth law both require us to hold a hearing before a cable franchise can be renewed. So that's a guarantee. That's not a promise from some consultant. That's from your city manager and from your city solicitor, because we can't move something forward in a legal fashion without having held a public
Yeah,
hearing.
System
to
4 out of
review,
5 of them resigned.
The proposed renewal.
And,
Mr. Mayor?
And finally, just say, I want to thank, I talked to the city manager team. I know Michael Trainer. I was chair of Public Service and Transportation. A couple of times, I think, we've handled the contracts, at least once. And Judy Warren, two very capable people when it comes to these agreements. I want to thank the advisory committee for bringing this to our attention, because I think the seniors are going to thank you once they say they have some hopefully retroactive.
Ms. Pitch, that seems pretty straightforward. Thanks for that.
So I appreciate that. And this comes down to what we renew. And to be clear too on this too is we have the Municipal Broadband Committee. So we do have some foresight in this. We realize technology is changing. TV is changing. This is only the TV agreement we're talking about. It's not the telecommunications. It's not the internet. It's only the
Mr. Mayor, you're probably in your, we're giving you a lot of leeway.
Just say,
Man, this is awesome.
somehow we got to fix this. Like the real issue now is it's not so much the agreement, because I think the recommendations hold on.
Thankfully, we have this old man leading the charge into the future.
Kind of admitted into it.
Look on the bright side. The seniors now know that they've had discounts available to them that Charter hasn't extended.
Joe's excited. He just saved $5 a month, people.
The advisory committee, be part of
They've been very quiet about that because they're the only cable subscribers left.
I think this is probably turned into this because everybody's moving too fast. Everybody's passionate. Everybody wants to do the right thing. And I just hope we can fix this. Let's move forward and do what's right for people. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Councilor Bergman, followed by Councilor Hajia. And
Get out of the seat,
Councilor
Kate.
Fleming.
Thank
You're
you,
done.
Madam Chair. I know
Get
some of the
the fuck outta
frustrations. I served on the Public Transportation and Service Subcommittee with
Get back to the
then
checkbooks.
Chairperson Gary Rosen, and got into a number of heated battles, particularly when the channels were changed with charter. And I understand the leverage we do or do not have. But I will say this, as important as it is to recognize the work that everybody here has done, I do say that I appreciate the passion of the Cable Advisory Committee. I've heard from a number of folks from there. Obviously, they're deeply involved in this decision making. They've put a lot of time and effort in. Oftentimes, we city councilors forget the fact that people are putting in as much time as we are.
He just said he's going to ignore the recommendation.
Notoriety, and they certainly deserve a gratitude and respect. And I hope over time, a number of them, if not all of them, will reconsider the position they've taken, because I know as a resident of the city of Worcester, I certainly would love to see that.
Ruth, I think you just call and request it. Sounds like
it's not something they'll offer you. You gotta know.
Yeah, seems like he said you have to request it.
Can accomplish a lot. I think this is a good,
which is
forum
crazy.
to discuss a number of
You have
issues.
to say the
I
magic
have to
words
say
that we never
something
made
before
you know were
I asked the
existed.
consultant some
Right.
questions. The 10 years I've been on the council, I've always appreciated the fact that we've never put ourselves in a weaker position by letting the other side, whatever the other side is, know our strategy, know our strengths, know our weaknesses. Now, I want the
Make sure they
public to weigh
backdate
in,
it for you, Ruth.
but I also think this would have
I'm
been a
pretty sure the other
perfect
side knows all of
to be
your
an
strengths and
executive session,
weaknesses.
because I'm sure representatives of Charter Cable are going to play this tape over and over again and have a lot of insight into what our strengths and our weaknesses are. And quite frankly, I don't think that helps us. I just don't. So I hope in the future we'll be much more prudent in what we say or don't say publicly and how we conduct those hearings, because the last thing I want to do is keep the public away from knowing the information. But the other thing I don't want to do is have charter communication deciding on what we can.
Sounds like it's
Okay.
the first thing you want to do.
Yeah, how do you square those then, Mo? Like he says dumb shit like this all the
I'll
time,
ask very general questions through the chair.
but he never squares them.
Through the chair to our consultant. Could you please spell your name, because I'm not sure I heard it correctly, and I certainly don't want to be disrespectful by calling you a name that isn't yours.
Sure. My name is, if my mother were telling you, it would be
I'll
Jerry.
pronounce Attell's
So,
name wrong
But I go by
every
Jerry,
week,
and my
but
last
I'll
name is
ask you,
Lederer, Lederer.
And through the chair, I'm assuming, Mr. Lederer, but I could be wrong, that you're an attorney. Is that correct?
You are correct, sir.
Okay, and through the chair, this is an area that you have an expertise in, the Cable Communications Act.
The fuck is this, a
advisory
deposition?
municipalities, is that correct?
It is. I've been doing
He
it.
feels threatened
since
by
about
another lawyer.
1985. I'm the former general counsel.
Let's talk
for
lawyer
the
to
US
lawyer
Conference of Mayors and other.
Uh-oh, my
communities
lawyer alarm
for
went
whom
off.
I've negotiated in the Commonwealth are both Boston and Cambridge. So Worcester would be my third client within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I've done numerous other cable franchises, including Philadelphia, Montgomery County, Maryland, Howard County, Prince George's County. So yes, sir. I've probably done as many cable franchises as anyone out there, probably with a little bit more emphasis on the larger cities.
How do you think I can afford this black box that I live
Attorney
in?
Lederer,
Yeah,
to,
the sensory
litigation,
deprivation tank
do
that I
you
was
get
drinking
involved in
from.
litigation when municipalities decide
That
they're
actually
gonna
sounds
not
kinda
renew
nice.
contracts with cable companies?
Yes, sir. I do. We have actually never had to go
I like this
all the
baseball
way,
coat over a collared
to,
shirt look he's rocking.
to court.
Probably came right
we've
from
gotten
baseball
close.
practice here.
Yeah, he's
I'm doing
coaching
a
an
renewal
AAU
right
team.
now in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. That was probably the closest we ever got about 7 years ago. But yes, we're fully prepared to do it. It's the denial of a cable franchise is a rather rare instance.
Because business runs
doesn't
this
happen. It
country.
doesn't mean that it shouldn't
Yeah.
happen. If I could
Because
just
it's
put your
literally
mind to
rigged
rest
that way?
on one thing, I really think that your counsel is spot on about executive sessions, but I think that the airing of these issues this evening it will not work to the detriment of the city. An awful lot of times the cable
Yeah, you dumb
companies sit
fuck,
there
Mo.
and think that a lot of the heat simply comes from, the consultant council.
Mo's not going to like being
Anybody
told
that's
what's wrong.
watching this tonight understands that the elected leadership of the city of Worcester is fully committed to having a meaningful franchise in place.
That's not what I got from
With
this
respect
meeting
to,
tonight.
your expertise, would it be possible
Yeah,
for
you
you,
know
and I'm not
that.
asking for specifics, and actually I'd ask you to please not give me specifics, but would it be possible for you to render an opinion as to the best avenue the city of Worcester should take with respect to its ability to raise a strong case or not a strong case regarding denial of renewal?
It's premature to make that, to offer that guidance.
At some point, could you offer the guidance before?
Oh, absolutely. I have to. Yes.
And that'll be,
I will.
and through the chair to the city manager, that'll be made available to the council. Is that correct?
To the chair, that is correct.
And my last question, thank you, Attorney Lederer. Through the chair to the city manager, maybe to the city solicitor, depending on which one of you is more comfortable answering this. As a city
God, I
council,
wish Christian was
my
here to
understanding is
fight
we would vote
Mo.
on this contract.
I
Is
know.
that correct?
This is so boring.
Mr. Manager?
To the chair, to the council, no.
Even though it's
No, there would be no vote by the council.
would you commit to us through the chair to prize us and give us the opportunity to weigh in before you make a final?
Sounds like Christian went to the WNBA game. Just kind of
I
cool.
understand, through the chair to the council, yes, and in my understanding, I think it also involves public hearing session before that happens.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We have Council Toomey. No, you're next. Council Toomey.
All right, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to say that I certainly understand people's frustrations with charter. If it weren't for the fact that my husband works out of the house, we probably would have cut everything and gone with some hotspot or something like that. But we don't have any cable boxes because we couldn't afford it. So I understand. I don't know how people.
And I'm a rich person. This is the way she said that.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
And look at me.
And so
Look, and I'm normal.
this decision that we made.
I'm dripping with affluence.
It was appropriate for us, but again, for those families who need to have the internet for the children to study, I mean that's crazy. I know that there's funding out there and support
Internet for
programs
the
it,
children
but,
to study.
We're all held over a barrel.
Yes, I need to study the internet.
Cable
Hello, I would
company,
like one
and,
internet study, please.
It's unfortunate. The infrastructure makes a difference. I know that there's over 500 miles of streets here in our city, and so it's extremely expensive to put in a secondary set of cable and fiber. I know that they're doing some of it, but to do the entire city all at once is difficult. But I do want to thank the commission for all their hard work. I want to thank everybody
What is she even
who's really
talking
spoken on this.
What are you fucking on about, Kate?
And I look forward to having a resolution that will be affordable for everybody. And I can guarantee you, I'm going to be putting in for my senior citizen discount tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You just said you don't have it.
We have Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad that it seems like we're going to be, kind of more on the same page when it comes to the contract.
Focus.
It seems. But one of the things that, kind of is of a concern for me is how do we reconcile what happened with the advisory board? I'm really wondering in general, the one thing was that the cable service advisory members mentioned that they couldn't petition the city council because they are employees of the city. And so I would like clarification on that in regards to, is that true even though they're unpaid volunteers and they aren't on our payroll, correct?
Mr. Manager.
Through the chair to the council, that is correct. Every board and commission member who takes an oath with the city of Worcester is considered a special employee, even though they're volunteer and non-paid. they're considered a special
This-
employee because they took the oath.
All right, thank you. That was my next question, which is what definition of employee
I didn't
and
take an oath.
employer
I was on the
is. And so
public
could
arts
you
working
explain
group, but I never said I was
what the special
off.
employee
So does that mean
definition is?
I'm technically a special employee of the city? Because that pog is still thick.
Through the chair of the council, I wouldn't necessarily use the term special employee. Under the conflict of interest law, there are special municipal employees, all volunteers, paid or unpaid people that serve for the city are employees under the conflict of interest law. That also applies in this case when you're talking about the chain of command and carrying out government policies. So as the manager said, people get onto these boards, they take an oath of office to carry out the duties of that board or commission. These boards, commissions are specifically created as an ordinance of the city, and the people that then serve are carrying out public policy and pursuing and doing the work of the city in their specific lane.
And so what other avenues could they have used to kind of reach out to the city council or the public to really kind of do what they did with the petition?
Through the chair of the council, they've already put out the report to the public. But the employees and even unpaid employees do not have the right under our former government to jump over the city manager, who's their appointing authority, and then petition the city council to change this manager's mind. This charter has been in force
Someone's
since
feeling spicy.
January 1987. I started working for the city in January 1988. I have never seen, or do I ever remember, any board or commission member or employee directly petition the city council to change the decision of the city manager. It's just the tenets and the underpinnings of our home rule charter and how we operate. And doing things like that, not in this instance, but if you're going to have boards and commission members go to the council whenever there's a decision they don't like made by the city manager, at some point, in some instance, it's going to just drag everybody into the verboten field of getting into personnel matters. It's just, there's a line there that can't be crossed.
Thank you. So I am wondering, through the chair to I imagine the city manager, what are the incentives for people to serve on commissions if their unanimous vote didn't really translate or influence the administration's decision?
Nice
I
question.
understand now after that there was miscommunication, but I think in general that would be a helpful question.
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, that's where it's important, the relationship between the city manager and the members that are appointed to the boards and commissions. We've had situations with, for example, human rights, where they felt a certain way or had certain perspectives related to the work that they were asking the city manager administration to work towards. I communicate with them. I try to have engagement meetings with some of the
They
bodies.
wanted to see disciplinary records. I said they can't.
Try to resolve it in that manner. In this case here, I didn't foresee any particular issue. I didn't have any concerns or frustrations towards the committee. I thought the committee did an exceptional job in terms of what they did, and they presented a recommendation to me. And as the authority I have now to work and negotiate this process, taking into consideration what the committee has provided. And so,
Yeah.
but when there are contentions between
Take
the
it into
committee
consideration.
or some of the advisory committees and myself,
You
previously,
said you weren't going to do
the
that.
assistant city manager, the previous city manager, there was some issues that happened with the DI committee. And then I stepped in to try to foster a relationship and a conversation with some of the members of that committee to try to repair that relationship. So again, that's a part of the partnership and the relationship that not only every leader should have with their employees, but also with any volunteer that's participating in municipal government. And I pride myself in making sure that I do that when I'm working with any employees or any volunteers.
Thank you. And I do agree that a relationship does really matter, a working relationship. And I was actually thinking about the DI committee disbanding when I hear so many of our members from the Cable Advisory Board resigning. I think that is a huge concern of mine when we're asking people to give up their time and expertise to do this work, and then for folks to really resign. And I hope there's a way in which we could reconcile this. And I also hope that we continue to think about the ways in which, oftentimes these committees, these advisory boards, these commissions are inaccessible to people in the community, oftentimes feel like they're riddled with, obstacles or red tape and feel ineffective. And I think that we could move differently when we're moving towards, really trying to be a democracy and really trying to get public participation into this work. And so I would like to have a report back with your plan and strategy into making sure that these committees and commissions really get to do their mission and their work, and to continue to encourage public participation in an equitable way. My other request is going to be to the city clerk to provide us with the citizens petitions that have been denied in the last 2 years, and with the explanation of why, unless these petitions were withdrawn by the petitioner. Thank you.
Council Hajia?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I echo what my colleagues said about the entire process. I don't want to regurgitate it, but I do want to make sure that the advisory committee, if they're still willing, that we extend them an opportunity to reinstate themselves as advisory members. I think that they have done an incredible job. They clearly bring a lot of expertise to the table, and whatever miscommunication or missteps that went back and forth, I feel like we played a lot of mediator roles today between the city manager and the advisory committee. It would be really valuable to have these folks come back, and I really appreciate you extending that public invitation for them to be part of the negotiations. This is a lot of wonky and very technical topic, and clearly they've done their job and their work, and I think that they could be an asset to the negotiations moving forward. So I don't know if the city solicitor could potentially answer this, but if folks are willing to reinstate themselves, what would be the process of doing that?
Mr. Trainer?
Through the chair of the council, sort of uncharted territory, but I think they would notify the city manager that they would like to rescind their act, and it would have the city manager to not accept their original stepping down.
So I would encourage the city manager in name of repairing that relationship, if folks are willing to come back to the table, and if that's the path that they want to follow, it would bring more power and more empowering effect to the city to not have 4 members. If I'm not mistaken, there were 4 members that resigned, not just 3, to have these folks come back and repair that relationship and reset the button. The last thing that, and I apologize, Mr. City Solicitor, I didn't hear your answer to Councilor Nguyen. The avenue for a board or commission to disagree with the city manager any decision is essentially to have that communication directly with the city manager?
Through the chair to the council, that's correct. Or they could, in committee, take a vote of the committee to send something to the manager asking him to reconsider a decision, but it's not to jump outside the city manager's his umbrella of who works and reports to him. I mean, the function of the committee is to assist and advise the city manager. It's not to make policy, it's to give recommendations and advice. And if they disagree with the first decision the city manager makes, they can go back to him and talk to him some more. And I know the city manager is always open to meeting with people and talking about it, but that's how our system works.
And thank you for that answer. I just want to make my own my opinion transparent, as I also put on social media. I didn't interpret them as disrespectfully jumping over you. What I heard the commission say is that they felt as though there was a breakdown of communication, and they felt compelled to come to city council and express that opinion in a public forum, as well as they have done through other avenues. And I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to argue with you, Mr. City Solicitor, but I do think we do a disservice to our volunteers if we do not open the public space for them to talk to their elected officials, which they have done in private, but I think there's value in that dialogue also happening in the public arena. So whether we agree or disagree with that, that is irrelevant. What's relevant is that it sounds like we're resetting and moving forward. And I appreciate you inviting them back if that's the will of the members of the commission.
Thank you. So we'll take that report. We'll send that to, Council Russell. I'm sorry. Looking right at you,
I know
too.
you're tired of hearing from me tonight, Mr. Chairman, but I'm sorry.
I'm tired of hearing from you every night, pal.
Yep.
Conversation with the members that submitted their resignation before he makes a final decision on anything dealing with their status, but to actually have a conversation. You know, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to clarify a couple of things, just for the public's benefit. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the manager, and whoever would like to answer. Is there any chance that we could fire or not renew Charter Spectrum and bring in a different carrier without them having to do something?
Mr. Manager?
Buy flyers or whatever?
Thank you for joining us, George.
In our contract with Spectrum, it's not exclusive. Any company wants to come today and decide to.
But they own all of the
If we choose not to
infrastructure,
Charter
or they
Spectrum,
rent all the infrastructure. So
contract that leaves the door open for anybody, but also it's not exclusive, even if we did sign the contract.
So there's nothing to stop, if you didn't renew Charter, there's nothing that would stop them from continuing to do business in the city either then, for that matter, is there?
No, any cable company that comes into the city has to have a license agreement with the municipality.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is really a communication problem around the table, around all of us here in city government. I'm happy to hear the administration tonight responding to the questions from the other side of the room, making that public commitment or reiterating that public commitment that the manager gave us before and that his predecessor, Mr. Augustus, gave us, that he would have a conversation with this council and with the community before making any final decision. But Mr. Chairman, you know, today we really don't, we have newspapers and print media and that are a shadow of what they used to be. It's difficult to know what information is correct.
So he's about to support you publicly, Bill.
I was texting with the manager because
I really haven't written about this.
Sending him a text saying,
No, I mean just in general. I think he's just going to say.
Yeah, that's why we need Bill Shana to keep making fun of me.
Trying to figure out where this information came from. It came from a perception of a blog that has the city manager.
That's true.
Substack. Now, I don't know if this is a blog that he does on his own in his spare time, or if it's an official role of the city administration. But the blog that's on Substack, it's from Eric Batista. It doesn't say City of Worcester. It doesn't say city government. It says Eric Batista. His last words are, it says, I'm currently working with cable. It goes on and on about, you know, different choices and stuff. And it says, I'm currently working with Cable Services Department to move through the renewal process, and will use the tools at my disposal to do my best I can, the best license agreement for the city while adhering to state and federal regulations. You know, it's easy to perceive, at least I did, when I read that. Maybe I misunderstood it, but it's easy for the public to perceive that it was all done. And I think that it's important going forward that not only that there's a communication with those volunteers that are putting their time in, and obviously from our non-volunteer consultant that's giving his advice, saying that the input that they had was an excellent input. It's important that we all have that conversation, but it's also more important than anything that we have a clear message out to the public. And the message is that, number one, Charter and Spectrum do not have an exclusive deal. And then even if the city didn't renew, they would still be able to do business here in the city. So I think that's important that message gets out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll send that to Public Service and Transportation. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We are on 9.
Finally.
We are on 9.7A, recommend adoption of the order taking the Johnson property in Holden, Massachusetts. Good job, Mr. Fink. Motion, we will roll call that. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Caloria?
Yes.
Councilor Hajier? Yes. Councilor King? Councilor Merrill Carlson? Yes. Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Hayda?
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Yes. Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, transmitting information communication relative to the air release valves around the city and those currently being installed. Things you learn on this committee sometimes. So we'll send that to Public Works. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Recommend adoption of the order conveyance of easement to Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority. Adopt on a roll call. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Gloria?
Yes.
Councilor Hajiya?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Haydo?
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. D, transmitting information communication over the National Public Works Week. We can file that. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transmitting information communication over the 2024 Paul J. Moosey Employee of the Year Award, which is Monday at noon at DPW. The motion is to file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transmitting information communication about the update on the unpack and possibility of moving the Roger Kennedy Memorial statue. We can refer that to veterans. Is that fine? We'll send that to Parks. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transmitting information communication relative to the 2024 speed hump installations. Councilor Bergman.
Don't sound so excited, Joe. It's weird.
We'll send that to traffic and parking. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transmitting information communication over the process and
Just
government
clearly
law
in favor of
renewal.
speed
Okay,
hump.
we did that one. Next is transmitting information communication over the data around complaints received by the Inspectional Services Department. The percentage of those complaints have been followed up on, percentage associated with the enforcement of violations and any other pertinent information. You send that to public safety. You want that in public safety? Okay. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Transmitting information communication relative to the Worcester Public Library services available to the Worcester Public School students. Send that to you want that in education? No, before doing so, Councilor Pacello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank Jason Homer and his staff. My daughter is a student at WAMS, and I know all the kids really look forward to Libby the Bookmobile. We're fortunate to have great library access.
Our first girl city councilor, everyone.
Yay.
And the WAMS library has a lot of volunteers, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the library can work at the elementary school level to make sure that all kids can have the same level of access. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So send that, you want that in education? Send that to education. All those in favor, opposed, so
Mr. Mayor, I
ordered.
think Councilor Haydo would like to recuse himself from this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilor Hill, why don't you step out of the room before I'm going to resend that please note that Councilor Hill has recused himself on this item. We're going to send that to a committee. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay. 9.30A, transmitting information communication over the fiscal year 2024 financial update. And we'll send that to MO. And also transmitting information communication over to the fiscal year 2024 financial update as of February 29th, 2024. We'll send that to MO. Mr. McGurthy, keep up the good job and much appreciated. Don't expect
Keep up
anything.
the good job.
And now we'll do the finance items.
No money.
936A out.
Okay, I missed one. Before you get to there, Councilor Russell, we have 9.33A, transmitting information communication over to the vendor check register and informing Worcester. So it looks like we're on the right track of that. We'll send that to Urban Ties. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Which one do you want to take out?
9.36A. I thought you were going to do all the finance items.
Yep. So we'll take out 9.36A. So we'll take 9. And Councilor DeBerger?
9.35C, if I could just speak on that for a minute.
Okay, so we'll take out C and 9.35C and 9.36A. So we'll do the others, 9.35.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, that's the one.
I just had a question on 936D and E, just because so many people brought it up. If the city manager wanted to clarify.
Oh, okay. Let's just do, let's go through let's go in order then. So let's do 9.35A through D. We have a question on C. Councilor Bergman?
Well, it's not so much a question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a comment. There was a report by Mr. Antonelli on my request on some more information, which has been ongoing for a while regarding Elm Park and the Roger Kennedy Memorial Fund. And I noted in that report, which was sent out to the appropriate subcommittee, that the recommendation was not to move the Rogers Kennedy Memorial, and the argument or the the reasoning that was given was it may incur some structural damage, and the other argument was if it gets too close to the intersection of Highland Street and Park Ave, it runs the higher risk of being damaged. My counter argument would be that it's there to be seen, and there certainly could be a case to be made that the less light and less visible it is closer to the road, the more likely there could be vandalism happening to it because it's in a dark area. So the reason why I asked to hold this is I'd like to ask Parks.
It's a great question, Sally.
$50 could be used, what they suggested in their report, funding sources for increased lighting, because I think the intermediate solution over there.
I think probably, yeah.
That way, even if it doesn't get moved, it can be seen better. It can also eliminate.
But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Majority High School opens is a tremendous amount of people that are going to be closer to the vicinity of that statue. And I'm not suggesting anybody would intentionally do anything.
That's an interesting one. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't give you a good answer on that. Let me look at. I'm not familiar with what that one.
So that's my suggestion through the chair to the manager. Perhaps he can make the suggestion to Mr. Antonelli.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll take 9.35A through D on a roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King? Council Member Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nian?
Yes.
Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. We are 9.36A through G. We have a question on right now. First question is on 9.36A.
It is. So I'm looking at the report here.
I just don't feel comfortable with this large of amount for office furniture or for it's there's no secret that these chairs could use some repairs or replacement, but $50,000 I think is way too much to allocate for furniture for this chamber.
What is that? What is that based off of?
Okay. So we'll take a vote on. Okay, so we'll take a vote again separately on 9.36A. Roll call.
Cool. Before we take the vote, can we have some clarification of what that's going to include?
Sure. Mr. Quirk,
I'm
is it
sorry.
Mr. Manager? I'm not sure whose item this is.
Mr. Chairman, I'll take it. So basically, through chair to the council, the chamber furniture, the council seating, as well as the center seating for the council, Mr. Howland, including furniture, including this chairs in the council office in 310. And part of the reason, that we asked for this transfer is these are customized seats that were just, were purchased about 15 years ago. And as you can see, the condition of the current seats that you have, they're breaking down basically every council meeting. We're trying to, put them together. So that is part of
$52,000 for
transfer tonight.
15 chairs is
And next
pretty
year, we don't
crazy.
have any fiscal money budgeted, so.
Is it straight up for 15 chairs?
As well as the city manager staff, we have to act either this fiscal year.
That's all he
or we
said.
are not able to replace it next year.
He didn't say anything but chairs.
Thank you. So through the chair, it's just for the seating in the chambers here.
No, not just the chamber. You said
The chambers as well as the city council office, the current city council office, where you have the staff as well as the councilors.
And you said the furniture we have now through the chair to the city clerk is 15 years old?
The ones in the chamber, correct.
Okay.
Those chairs look fine.
Okay, thank you. And it's on this.
Yeah,
fiscal
most
year,
scooting
right?
around
Is that why
fine
they're
on
doing
them.
the transfer?
Correct.
It kind of
So
would.
basically it's come
It
out of
would be
the
nice
city
if they said how
manager's
many there
agenda.
were. I mean, if
Wants to
it's
speak on it, but my understanding is.
if it's
any
20
money that was
chairs,
not
like
used from the salaries for
Yeah.
the employees that I think the manager had initially budgeted.
I know it's crazy, but a good office chair
that's where
is
it's
like a
coming
grand.
from.
Like,
Yeah, if
As
it's
much-
50 chairs, then $1,000 a chair.
Yeah,
that
the
seems
council
totally
position.
reasonable.
Okay, thank you.
$2,000 a chair. Hey, if you get
pushing
15
things.
years out of them,
9.36A.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Agia,
Yes.
Council King, Council Member Carlson. Yes. Council Nian,
Yes.
Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
No.
they should get gamer chairs.
Yes.
and Mayor
that would
Petty.
be awesome.
That'd be
Yes.
so sick.
And then come on the
Okay,
stream
we
and play
have,
Fortnite.
D.
Yeah.
Okay, we have questions on. was it
Just
D?
afraid.
Let's go with before we take the other items, let's go to D and E, Council Nguyen.
Yeah, I just wanted to give the city manager a chance to speak on it just because so many people brought it up for the administration.
Through the chair, thank you, Counselor. This is a fairly standard operating procedure that we do, where as we go further into the year and there are certain positions that haven't been filled on the salary side of the ledger, that leaves funds available through vacancy to be used for other purposes within the department.
Like
And so in this
sure.
case, it's taking 400,000 or 300,000 of unused salary capacity, moving it over to the operational side, the OM side, for actually purchasing of materials as evidenced here. No one would see a pay cut. No one would lose their job. It's simply taking excess capacity within those funds and moving them to where they could be utilized.
Just
Mr.
to
Manager?
amplify that a little bit through the
Who
chair,
has
through the
questions
council,
on
just to
this?
amplify that a little bit.
Teachers must find that
in
hilarious.
addition to that, they are these are,
Yeah,
like I said,
right.
funding that funds positions currently right now that haven't been filled. These positions in the next fiscal year budget are funded as well. So these are positions that are funded, and the department will work to ensure that these positions will be not vacated. People will be working in them and hired to work in these spaces.
Thank you. That was all. I just wanted to make sure that the public knew that this was like a standard procedure that happens and it's not coming out of no one's pay cut. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to take 9.36A through G and also 9.37A and B. We're going to adopt those on a roll call. Roll call.
Counselor Bergman? Counselor Calorio?
Yes.
Counselor Adjei?
Yes.
Counselor King? Counselor Merrill Carlson?
All right, we're down to tabled under privilege.
Ojeda?
Yes.
Counselor Pasillo?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. 10, hang on, do it again. 10A, these are tabled under privilege. We can table this permanently to 10A, or is that the best approach, or send it to finance?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to do that because I believe we shouldn't be voting on this until we go through the whole budget, because this is the end result of the budget that we'll be discussing over the next several weeks. So if we could do that, hold this until the end of the budget, I think that works.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Gerthy, so if we don't send this to, we'll have a discussion on the capital budget outside of the budget process. And that's what we usually do, I think. Is that correct, Mr.?
Through the chair, that's correct. Generally, the capital budget is submitted together with the operational budget, and then the council takes it up for deep or light discussion, depending on their interests. And as the counselor said, the loan order would presumably come at the end of the capital budget process. When the capital budget is approved, the loan order would then follow.
Sure.
The
I've been
only
trying to
caution
figure
I'd
out how
offer
much
is
shop butter
it's
costs
not
every
a big
year,
one
short
because
of
we have plenty
filing
of time, but a loan
public
order does
request
require
and
2-week advertising and then has to come back to council. So we just want to see if we could time it.
Pretty
out.
hard to find that
Long
contract.
durations due to the summer months.
I wonder
but that's
why.
fine.
Yeah, and you know they shut the open checkbook too, so
Counselor Bergman?
that's also
Counselor
not a way
Calorio?
you can find that.
Well, you were trying to hack it.
Counselor King?
Right,
Counselor
right. I
Carlson?
was trying to get shot spotter for myself.
Counselor Ojeda?
Yes.
Counselor Pasillo?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. 10B, Council King's asked us to hold it one more time until he returns, so do a roll call. Roll call.
Counselor Bergman?
Mr. Chairman, can I just be heard on that?
Yeah, sure.
This was held under privilege, if I recall.
Correct.
So I'm
You
just,
dick.
if Counselor King was unavailable due to any sort of illness, I certainly would respect that. But if there's a conflict in their schedule, we choose not to be here. This is something that would be headed to my committee. You know, so I'm going to vote not to hold it, but obviously my colleagues are free to do what they wish. We'll see.
Man, they're such fucking
votes
dickheads to
hold,
each other. It's
roll.
really great.
It is.
Bergman?
It's so
Calorio?
No.
Counselor Adjei?
transparently
Counselor King is not here. Counselor Merrill Carlson?
petty, yeah, personal.
Counselor Nia?
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda?
Yes.
Counselor Pasillo?
No.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes, since I already told him I would. But, okay. Okay.
You needed an excuse?
So I think that brings us to the end of the meeting. Motion to adjourn. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Wow.
It happened.
They did it. They really did it.
What did I miss with the tail end of cable?
It was the consultant just mealy mouthed like a lot of bullshit about how the city's doing a good job.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to parse. And maybe he would have done a better job than I would, but it really didn't make much sense to me, except for the fact that they're going to have a public hearing required by law before they approve the contract. But that's like the last time the public will be sort of invited in on this. What's still unclear to me is like where we're at in the process. Like so the cable commission voted to have the city manager not renew the contract, but the city manager said in his Substack that he's going to move forward with renewing the contract. But it seems like moving forward with renewing the contract is still like a long, like protracted process yet to be done. So it's not as simple as he's just like, oh no, fuck you, renewing the contract.
I'm going to guess that if Eric were called on that, which I'm sure he will be, he's going to say that the renewal process includes the option to let the contract non-renew. That and I think that's what Mealy Mouth Man was getting at, was like, if we turn around early and say we're dipping out of this, it's not you, it's me. Then like we get sued. If we let the current contract run its course without actively renewing it, then maybe we get sued, or maybe we showed good faith effort to go through the process and we can walk away because there are enough complaints and whatnot in the city.
Right.
They're still going to renew.
But now they try and stem the criticism until they do it, and then it's too late to say anything.
Right. Yeah. Which is, fine. We're really seeing the limits of what we like to call local democracy here. It's pretty much just up to the city manager.
Yeah.
And whatever consultant he hires. And I think I think you might have missed two's question was like, what is the incentive for anyone to be on like an advisory board like this if you're just going to get ignored? And then Mike Traynor got up and basically said that the city manager has the right to ignore his advisory commissions. And she was like, okay, thank you. I suppose that answers my question.
Not in the way that you wish it did.
So the answer is there is no point to be on these boards besides like wasting your time for any number of years. That is kind of like the real biting thing about this, is that like the cable advisory, they tried, they thought they had a voice and they tried.
I think the most painful part for them has to be hearing the city's paid consultant, who is green screening from Aruba, say that like never in my life have I encountered a civilian body so dedicated to the process as this advisory board that I'll quit
right here in Worcester.
Yeah.
Pretty
crazy.
Yeah. And it just brings up the point. No one should join this committee.
Right.
And everyone should quit every committee.
If anybody out there knows anybody that works for Charter Spectrum, Bill Shaner needs to know if it is technologically possible on their back end to prioritize service for like say the city manager. Like,
right.
Via IP address. Is it possible for important people in this city, people who actually get listened to have their internet and cable service prioritized?
And how do I get on that list?
Yeah,
really. After we drop it out of the bill.
You got to imagine that, like, it should be easy to hook it up for somebody with like the first class business package to their home address without anybody knowing.
Right.
I imagine. Yeah.
So funny. Well, there really wasn't any other issue of note on the agenda tonight. It was funny to see the guy who runs cable access. I forget his name. De Pasquale.
Morrow. Yeah.
Show up to basically defend his job.
but kind of shit on the institution of cable,
Right.
as a business in a way that immediately got him cut off by the mayor.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really tough thing to watch too. Like, just from even if you give all benefit, totally creative person, right? Just loves the art form. The idea that anybody with a cell phone can just hop on YouTube and recreate what 40 years ago was like. I mean, the cable access was insane, like literal insanity going back, and it launched careers as well too. I mean, people like Tom Green and whatnot, like that's where they came from. It's kind of wild to think that. I mean, he must be kind of anxious just in general because the internet is a place.
Right.
Yeah, we should save his company. We should save that station.
For sure. Just take it over.
Ooh, any TV?
Yeah.
We talked about that for Twitch when we first started this.
It's just old school analog feeds straight into the internet. Speedballing the internet with old analog from Worcester.
Yeah.
We went to this is a slight tangent, but we went to the American Heritage Museum in Hudson this weekend. It's Jess's brother's birthday. He really wanted to go. He likes tanks.
Hell yeah.
So we went, and the coolest thing that I saw the entire time, and the thing I wanted to look at the most was they had two of those Sony personal video monitors that they use for TV stations.
Yeah.
They had like a fake setup for like Gulf War correspondent, and they had two of those, and I was like, man, these are so cool. I used to have one, and I'm just so there's all these like planes and tanks and all this stuff. I'm like, man, look at these monitors. They're so cool. But I mean, I guess it's a mild endorsement of that museum if you want to see some real weird propaganda, some real centrist propaganda.
Where is that?
In Hudson.
Okay.
It's you can pay to ride in a tank.
Mm-hmm. Can you drive it, or they just give you a ride?
Unclear. $1,500 though, so I feel like they must let you drive it.
At least hold on to the steering wheel.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. They have a second steering wheel.
Dukakis it.
Yeah.
You know?
Good reference.
But yeah, I mean, listen, not the most painful meeting we've ever sat through.
No.
Interesting in its inanity, and that's good. I mean, this I think this cable commission fight is speaks to larger issues with the city government in a way that I think maybe will be interesting to watch over the next year and a half.
For sure.
Especially if we get to watch it on better internet.
Yeah, right. Legit.
Right.
My favorite thing that happened tonight was this.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Marco, for hooking that up.
Marco, next time flex, but we're still very happy with
next
with
time
what
maybe
you did.
flex.
You know what, how about just tank tops, Marco? It's getting warm out. Like nobody's gonna look at you funny. Just tank tops for the rest of the season.
Can we pay to get Marco like a tie tank top, like those stupid tie shirts?
Be awesome.
Or we can get one like Brendan's flag, and he just rocks in like the American flag tank top.
I'll let you borrow it, Marco.
Well, you know, I think as we say every week, bad meeting, great show.
Bad meeting, great show. It's just the way
That's what we do. That's how we do.
Uh,
Do you guys have any specifics you want to promote in the coming days?
I don't think so.
Book club. Next book club meeting is next Thursday. Let me grab a post for that with the all the chapter information. We're reading chapters 2 and 3. This gets into the real nitty gritty of 8 hours for what we will. A lot of stuff about how people back then celebrated 4th of July, which is awesome. A lot of moralizing about the poors being too rowdy, which will ring true to anyone who's ever seen a Facebook post about kids who ride their bikes or dirt bikes around the city too much.
If anyone has ever called a phone number about
fireworks.
Yeah,
right. and also about bars, saloons, the evolution of drinking in public, legal or otherwise in Worcester. A lot of fun stuff. So that will be taking place at Cordella's Coffees / Rewind Video, 116 June Street, and on here at 7 p.m. next Thursday. And also 6 p.m. next Thursday, we're going to open the shop up for coffee hour beforehand. So people come early, come get a nice cup of coffee and hang out before we start the production.
Get a little chit chat in.
Get a little chit chat in. That's right. That's right.
Subscribe
like a
to
networking event.
Yeah, subscribe to our Twitch channel to join in on the convo on that one, and show up in person. The last one was incredible, so you should go down
really cool.
and hang out and learn something. Learn you something.
Yeah.
But subscribe to our Twitch channel anyways, just for fun.
While we're talking about networking, Brian, can I plug that No Jerks Network is having our next event on May 29th. A lot of our cats here come. We'd love to see y'all. Come hang out at the Wooden Bar. And to the 13 people here, I will let you know that I am loosely planning an after party at my studio because my new studio is walking distance from Wooden Bar.
And
So,
it's
cool.
sick over there.
That's
too.
great.
If you haven't been there, Wooden Bar is dope, and the studio is awesome. It's
I want to come see that. I got to come back for that for sure.
Grim is painting a mural. He was doing his line work today, and we have a new mural coming up in the space that'll probably be ready. Oh, definitely be ready by then. So,
hell yeah, amazing. Yeah, we make sure that you're subscribed to billshaner.substack.com.
Yes, please.
Not ready, and here it is.
Worcester sucks, and I love it. WorcesterSucks.email at Worcester_sucks. You know where to find me at Woot Nanny Comedy. We got all sorts of cool shit coming up, including on May 31st, the Sort of Late Show with Shaun Connolly. We got some great guests we talked about before. Reporter Matt Shearer from WBZ Radio.
So excited for that.
It's going to be really cool. We're really, really excited to have him. And put the No Jerks flyer back up. I think that was about that comment's about. Throw that back up there for a moment. Wednesday, May 29th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Wooden Bar, plus the after party. If you're cool, you gotta be cool though.
Yeah, No Jerks. At No Jerks Network on Instagram if you want to follow us there.
Hell yeah. Follow us. Again, subscribe to us here on Twitch. We love to have you guys so much. It's the best. We love hanging out with you guys at WCT3000 for the updates on every time a city councilor sends us DMs and then blocks us on Twitter. Buy a t-shirt, WCT3K.StoreEnvy.com. Are we going to put up hats? Yes, we're putting up hats of this tweet, this DM, and Fred Nathan. So look at that. Look at that. And we're making a mural about him fishing, being fished. He's going to be fished. It has to be him
the
being
life
fished.
box.
Yeah. There it is. So thank you all again for hanging out. We love you guys. We love you 13 the most. The rest, everyone else is cool, but you're our favorite. Well, 12 of you. Jack's here too. So with that being said, everybody have a wonderful night. We will see you next Tuesday. We love you. Goodbye.